Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again this week for another TKN Celebrity Tournament prediction. I am your boy, Stevie Ray, who I am also in this tournament. But my predictions this week boil down to 4 combatants. And when I say 4 combatants, I'm talking about heavyweights, y'all. As a matter of fact, I think we do heavyweights every week. But this week, maybe super heavyweights. Number 1 on the list, a good friend of mine, a man I've been in the ring with, yeah. WWE Hall of Famer and best-selling author, a Mr. Mick Foley. Yes, Mick is here, and he's here to win it. I know that for a fact. Number 2 on the list, somebody that I've been watching for a very long time, and a lot of people don't know. Not only is he a great comedian, he's also a great singer. Yeah, you remember him. You see him everywhere. A Mr. Tommy Davidson. Yes, Tommy is here to lay it down like he always does. This one I can't wait to see. But yeah, number 3, Oscar-nominated actor Larry Hankin. Yes, Larry is here, and he's here to throw down, man. He's Oscar-nominated. That means he's not sitting at the bus stop. He gets the job done. But last but not least, oh my God, this guy's a part of my childhood, and I grew up watching him, man. He brought the smoke. He's in the Hall of Fame. Baseball, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. A Mr. Ferguson Jenkins. Now, if these are not heavyweights, I don't know what to say. And my prediction is, who's going to move forward? 3 can move forward, 1 man out. I think Ferguson Jenkins moves on to the next round. I think Mick Foley, super competitor, moves to the next round. And I think a Mr. Larry Hankin moves to the next round. Tommy, it was close between you and Larry. But I think he might have it over you a little bit. But that's just my prediction, man. I don't know what's going on. But at the end of the day, brother, I see you. I wouldn't want to be you. Not tonight. Peace.
This is different, and I love it, man, because it got me thinking like I was back at school again. I don't even know where you come up with these questions. I want to know how you come up with these kids. You're so innovative. I'm like, look, I mean, your mind is good, like you said. You're a history teacher, and your mind is going all over the place. So,
and it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You have something amazing going with the show because you're there and you're educating us.
Sure. Your platform gives us an opportunity to really let our guard down. And I never told anybody in public about that experience with my dad. And on your platform, I don't know why I did that, because it's so comfortable and we're talking about things that matter.
I love the little anecdote of comedy with your would you pay for it? Would you not? That I love that. I love how you added that in to kind of break up the tension a little bit, because it gets serious.
We want to know people's stories,
I concur.
And that's what TKN does, So I love
uplifting human being. Last name Ferrigno, first name Lou. Lou, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. That's the best introduction I've ever heard in my life. You know something? You need to quit the show and be my moderator and travel with me.
Together for a majestic, out of this world, one-of-a-kind human being. First name Vivica, last name Fox. Welcome, my friend.
Whoa, that was an awesome introduction. Let me tell you that. I don't think I've ever had anyone read my resume with such flow.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it.
You're unbelievable.
Last name Wilkins, first name Lenny. Lenny, welcome, my friend, to the celebrity tournament.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to this. It should be fun.
Last name Murphy, first name Calvin. Calvin, welcome to the tournament, my friend.
Damn. You said it just like I wrote it.
But these rhymes are going to wind down as I've reached the home stretch, the one and only Tretch. I appreciate
you better a lot of these rappers out there.
You gave me good eargasm tonight, man. I love your voice. I love the things that you talk about.
Well, you're the best I've seen. You're the Michael Jordan or LeBron James, whoever you want to make the GOAT.
This is why your audiences love you. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
I just want to do this again and again. I feel like I've made friends. And again, I've taken the competition part of it out because I've just enjoyed talking to you guys tonight.
Oh man, most definitely. This is, I think my top. I mean, because when you do the intro you gave me, I gotta get to. I like.
You deserve it.
I can count my friends on one hand. Well, wait, on one finger. You.
Oh man, thank you so much, my friend. Because if you don't heal from what hurts you, you'll bleed on people that never even cut you to begin with. It had nothing to do with your pain.
All right.
So
tell him already. Tell him.
You guys are bringing the best out of me.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs. In other words, something hurts. Obviously, something is amiss.
But she would sit at the kitchen table looking out the window for quite a period of time while the food was getting prepared. And I wish I had took that time to sit down with her and ask her questions about her being a child, along with my aunts, my uncles, so I could not only be a blessing to her and know more and sympathize and love her more as a mother, but also to know more about myself and my sisters and understand where we've come from.
This thing has drawn me out of myself and thereby drawn me into myself. But I learned a lot. And from you, I always learned something from you.
Continue to work as hard as you can, because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
More underrated, we have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy, or Unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Abby.
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
I'm going to go Don Corleone.
Here, the reason I'm going for Christmas is because it does create those amazing memories that and Sarge, I know you've been there too, because I've seen you at so many different great events for muscular dystrophy association.
You compete with yourself. The Joe Reed, especially working with him, taking pictures in the magazine, helping me to shape my body and educate my mind.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder.
God, it matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Barry, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom, and this is amazing. I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. What you do with class, understanding, professionalism, you're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
It's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences, and I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
The greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend, and I feel an unbelievable level of wealth, and a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
Are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play. I just win.
Robert, would you like to win this entire tournament?
You know, all those luminaries and athletes and strongmen notwithstanding, the most dangerous place on this show is between me and that prize. That's all I'm going to say.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Oh, yeah, man. I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me because it's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby, and I'm not playing.
Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo, better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner, so yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
Last name Smith, first name Joe. Joe Smith, welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, Avi. Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God.
Guys and gals, the pals, it is Saturday night. The first thing I want to do is thank all of you because you have made this thing what it is today. I'm not going to give you a long speech and then give you one because a lot of people, they set themselves up that way. They say they're not going to do something, but then they proceed to do it anyway. I don't like that stuff. It was kind of like, I'll talk about chicken soup later, but we are going to talk about Progresso Soup. They are our new national sponsor. They are great to work with. I will not pretend to enjoy some soup and tell you how great it is. You're going to do something without pretending. You're going to go to an aisle in your supermarket, get some Progresso Soup, and just give us feedback. I'd like feedback. They have so many options. Which one should I try? Let me know. I'm a New Yorker, so I'm picky. But Progresso Soup, great sponsor, and I want you guys to give them a shot. We have a lot of fun over here. That's the point. I call it edutainment. This tournament is truly a sport of the mind where strangers walk away as friends. That's what it's all about. A long time, they're in round 2 of the celebrity tournament. Of course, one person wins it all, 15 grand, 5-day trip to Greece. So guys and gals and pals, let me get on with it, shall we? Industrial-sized air conditioners at your favorite B&B in Alaska would be rendered obsolete after witnessing that intro because we're all fired up. That much is a fact. You've experienced luminary after luminary enter this virtual arena because this tournament is quite stacked. I dub this vision of mine edutainment because I place emphasis on the entertainment and education because on this station, we celebrate those that are passionate about their vocation, and this format is anything but the same old, so I thank you for embracing the innovation and expressing your constant elation when taking in the most star-studded tournament of them all, a place where competitors convey their level of admiration, while we marvel at the information, passion, and perspiration when observing this wide array of talent that make up the population of strong-minded thinkers that enlighten us, which is why I subscribe to conversation, because listening and applying is how we get to our destination. We're all so much closer than we are apart, much to the chagrin of our media, which is why this show offers a demonstration of what's right about us as a society. So for the new viewers out there who have a fascination, sit back and enjoy as I put a cap on this virtual dissertation, and sit back, guys and gals, where you can watch our humanity and we discover open dialogue while you can expand. So be prepared to always give a hand to participants that are about to work their sweat gland, all the while our attention they command. It's my honor to present these wonderful women and men who don't, guys and gals, see themselves merely as a luminary. I will always tell their life story biographically. The bard Mr. Shakespeare once said, "It's not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." So if you love something, don't hate others that prefer to do, because doing is the sweet nectar that's most rewarding. Take a moment to breathe, admire your desire to aspire, because if you don't, life will be a blur. This I'm sure, and never hate the flower for starting out as a seed, because this isn't a stampede. Always remember to cheerlead, guys and gals and pals. With that, this human fortune cookie is done. Right now, I want to bring in our first participant, Mr. Larry Hankin, guys and gals. I want to bring him in. This is a friend who's been here again since the ground floor. He's wonderful, and I cherish our friendship. He is a very, very honest, guys and gals, and he always discovers new landscapes. In a world filled with questions, it's quite comforting to know that there are simple answers when it comes to certain people, like this man's honesty, his direct approach, his integrity, his ability to spot BS, his passion and compassion. There are no questions when it comes to all the above, because he's truly a remarkable human being.
I tell everybody what a nice person you were, too.
It just happened. It was a meeting of the minds, sort of. There's no such thing, naturally, as sick comedy. You know? There's no such thing as beatniks. It's a writer's device. And I think you'll agree, maybe, that I feel he is the most literate, he is perhaps the most erudite, humane humorist on the American scene today. Besides comedy, he's interested in he's very active.
Beyond the species that is on this earth, we don't know of any other species except us. We're like supposedly the top dog. And I don't know what the hell we're doing with this planet. So Jesus either wasn't saying enough or too much, and Genghis Khan was just over the top, man. So I got up on the stage, and I wasn't. I was just as funny, which is not funny at all. So it took me a long time to, to get that learning curve of where the laugh is.
By the way, let's sit for 2 minutes is the most ignored instruction among microwave users.
It's too long. It's too long.
It's too long. Indeed it is, but thanks to Larry Hankin, he gave me a tip. If you're actually waiting for a meal and it's in the microwave for 2 minutes, have an activity. Don't just stand there pacing, hoping that, because I'll never wait the full 2 minutes. At 1:59, I'm such a schmuck. I have to pull it out 1:59 just because I can. I don't know why. That's a different story. We might unpack that. But guys and gals and pals, no time for that right now. I want to bring him in because he's a wonderfully honest, sincere, multifaceted human being, and he's quite real. His resume is vast, and his artwork and upcoming book will make you feel. He graduated as an industrial designer from Syracuse University and moved to Greenwich Village with his college buddy Carl Gottlieb, who would later write the movie Jaws. His limitless talent and range take only a backseat to his humility. He truly deserves a round of applause. He started doing stand-up in coffee houses and was soon opening for Woody Allen and Miles Davis. He then joined Second City in Chicago, but I'd be remiss if I forget to mention that he started The Committee, a rival improv group that ushered in joy and endless bliss. Penny Marshall recalled seeing his improv work, and from there, he was cast in Laverne and Shirley. This got him an agent. He became a working actor, and much like Mr. Furley, he portrayed, guys and gals, many characters, kind of similar to the legendary Don Knotts. This man was down to earth. He knew his roots. He didn't behave like some entitled luminary. His legendary role opposite Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz was honest, truthful, and an instant classic. He worked with my mentor, Richard Donner, who got me into this business, and Spielberg, the man who directed a park named Jurassic. Our next guest wrote, directed, and starred in a short that was nominated for an Oscar. It was Solly's Diner. Yet all the while, he challenges the status quo and is a free thinker. I can't think of anything finer. From Breaking Bad to Mr. Teicholz on Friends to Uncle Buck and Home Alone. 150 film and TV roles on his resume only begin to tell a story and set the tone. His one-man show, Street Stories, his books, screenplays, and collaborating with yours truly. He's an independent mind and tells it like it is, even if sometimes we have to be unruly. So give it up for a man that is film and TV royalty, a man that truly embraces the word free. Welcome, my dear friend and an awesome human being. Last name Hankin. First name Larry. Welcome to round 2 of the Celebrity Tournament, my good friend.
No way I can follow that.
You don't have. Oh man.
No way.
Oh man, you deserve it, man. Thank you. You deserve it, man. I mean, I like the line I wrote about you being a free thinker, because you have to admit life's a lot easier that way when you are a free thinker. Because we want to reach more people and show them to, God forbid, think outside the box. I like how we can be disruptive in a good way. We can be disruptive by doing something different that challenges people.
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
Ooh, I like that. I like Good Trouble.
Well,
and I like your art too, by the way. I like that art behind you.
Not me.
Larry, how often do you paint? I want to bring in Mick Foley and Tommy Davidson right now, but how often do you paint? Because I love your artwork.
Oh, whenever I got a chance, I have what do you call it? An internet. I just do it on a laptop. Those are done on a laptop, and then I went to an art store, a real art store.
Sure.
That only deals in art, and they blew it up. They're like, it's like a museum art store, you know. In other words, painters who want to get their stuff in the museum go to this store to get it done right, you know, to put it up.
Yeah, whatever that means. I dig that though.
Really, the originals are only that big.
Yeah. Because you said whenever they get it right, whatever that means, if it feels right to you, it kind of belongs to you and you share it with the public. So
yeah, if it works, don't screw with it. You know,
I agree with you, unless you're the New York Knicks, but that's a different story. I'm a New Yorker. Larry, my friend, I'm going to put you backstage, bring in Mick and Tommy, and then we'll be off to the races.
Go.
Thank you, guys and gals and pals. Was here 4 years ago when we first started this journey, and this man followed him not long thereafter. I think of the word greatness when I think of him because it transcends any era. Greatness. As our next participant has elevated his level of greatness to improbable heights. I believe that the excellency of his art is its consistency, its intensity, its meaning, and the capability of making all things improbable evaporate around him. Not many of us know what we're made of until we face insurmountable odds. But this man faced insurmountable odds when he was born. And he's conquered each and every one of them and remained class personified.
Somewhere along the way, you should discover something that's so dear, so precious to you, that is so eternally worthful that you will never give it up. You ought to discover some principle. You ought to have some great faith that grips you so much that you will never give it up. You must love ultimately because it's lovely to love.
Tommy is playing a football coach that somehow is giving a terrific halftime speech during all of this, but there's one caveat. He isn't merely speaking to his players. He's giving them a pep talk by singing random 70s, 80s, and 90s theme songs of TV shows, sitcoms, cartoons, and movies.
You cannot do that, okay? Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen right away? Your car's going to what? Exactly. Catch on fire. Fire. Ding, 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 fire. Ding, ding, ding. The thing that I loved about what Martin Luther King represented was the main push was a fight against poverty. That was the main push. And it just broke our mental barriers and our spiritual barriers with each other. Martin Luther King gave his life so that everybody could be together, and damn if they aren't.
Amen to that. I don't even try to put those words in proper context because he will. He's a thoughtful guy. It took me 5 seconds to like him, and I still haven't shaken his hand, but I want to do that one day. I want to shake his hand and tell him how awesome he really is, because he really gives us that good energy and treats everybody the same. That's what I love about him. And guys, again, without being long-winded, I'm giving myself a disclaimer, I promise. There are a lot of celebrities now who want to do the tournament, and there are those, without judging them, who you could tell care about the one instead of the many. And I'd rather work with those who care about the many. And he epitomizes all that. He cares about the many, much like Mick and Larry. So guys, how do I get the message out regarding this next great talent? Telegram, tell your fam. When they tune in, bam, they tell you, like Uncle Sam, that this human being is recognized from every guys and gals, sir, to beautiful ma'am. This ain't no sham or some email spam. When expressing the fact that he innovated a style of comedy, he was the first, like a son named Abraham. So, dear diary, I spurker the word greatness and revel in its glory. Are we exposed to such greatness through a hearsay, fable, or an amazing story? I don't think so. I've seen greatness in the form of a man that has a vast array of range, no matter what's at stake. He'll make you howl, but in a good way, not like some sobbing on Ricky Lake. He's one of the funniest human beings on this planet. His content is legendary, and his delivery, timing, and execution is as strong as a bodybuilder made out of granite. He's a friend that's down to earth, humble, and his talent is limitless. Even these rhymes can't do the man justice. He leaves his audiences in stitches and in a constant state of bliss. Our faithful audience members remember how I mentioned the fact that we'd all sit down behind our TVs and clamor as he lit it up on the screen as the one and only MC Hammer. To him, I say thank you for the movie Woo. A standing ovation is what I gave you in the theaters as I stood tall for your nuanced performance in the lead in Booty Call. As one of the stars on the legendary ensemble in Living Color, his range was evident, and the acclaim deserved, guys and gals, to be cherished, because this man is a one-of-a-kind human being. His charisma and likability is off the charts. He might even get Depp and her to start agreeing. He's a man that's here to win this tournament, but you guys and pals can sit back and enjoy with your papa, puppy, or mommy. Grab a snack or two. If you're in Queens, New York, I can hook you up and tell you where to scarf up some good salami. But you may not need to eat, because this man fills it up. So put your hands together for a kind, intelligent, humble human being. Last name Davidson, first name Tommy. Welcome to round 2 of the tournament, my friend.
Glad to be here, man. I am in the frame. Just watch the trailer. I'm in the frame of just a bag of my heroes, put it that way, and just a straight line of quality entertainers. And boy, are we missing out on the quantity of quality in entertainment. And to see that, John Amos and in athletics and just in the world of entertainment, we're all included.
Sure.
Chris Rock told me probably about 10 years ago, I had these screenplays and TV shows and all this stuff I was pitching and really into how good they were. And he said,
He said, you know what, man? Right now, quality's out of style, and popularity is in style.
Sure.
Via social media. And I was like, man, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. And he was exactly right. But the good thing about quality is it doesn't change.
That's true.
I heard Solly's Deli.
Yeah, Solly's Diner. Yeah.
Yeah, Solly's Diner. I heard just things that I heard and saw in the last span of time within this frame.
Wow.
Covers like 40, maybe 50, maybe 60 years.
Wow. I've never
of quality entertainment within just that run.
Thank you.
Within just that run. And I'm within the frame.
Oh,
because
that means
because my comedy and my talent was formed.
Sure.
Was formed by an era where everything poured out into it. The 70s, poured out the 50s, the 40s, the 30s.
Sure.
It all poured out into the 70s.
Yes.
And then these kids got the influence because the things that were in style when we were in kids,
right,
that are needed. Peace was in style.
Yes. Yes.
Peace was in style. If you had peace around your neck, or you talked peace, that was hip.
That's true.
Ecology, taking care of the ecology was in style.
Absolutely.
Being different than your neighbor was in style.
Caring about your environment.
I mean, even the corporations picked up on it. Coke had I like to give the world.
Yes, right.
And all these different colors. And that generation was the beneficiary.
That's such a good way of putting it. And without sounding too cheesy, I feel like, with the Carter administration, that was probably the last one that didn't have corporations grab every would-be president or commander-in-chief and put their corporate fingers all over that person and kind of pull the strings. Back then, free thought was accepted even from people in that position. And you're right, who benefited from? Artists, comedians, people in the public sector.
What we got.
You were part of such a great time. And I'll say this because I don't know where you're you got the curtains because you're probably burying the fountain of youth somewhere because you still look like you're 35, my friend. Yeah. No, you wear it well. You wear it well. Tommy, I'll ask you a question, my friend. I meant what I said. I hope to shake your hand one day because you've always been such a stand-up guy and a friend, and you mean a lot to the network as it's evolved and grown, and you've been part of almost every calendar year, which is pretty cool as well. I know we're not shallow and superficial, but hey, some people need the money. Some 15 grand, 5-day trip to Greece, first class for the person who wins this tournament. Maybe on Amazon Prime, on Universal one day, one person out of 142. Would you like to win it all, my friend?
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But none of us within the frame don't need the money we got to do this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that is actually a valuable thing to say.
Sure.
Because isn't it that pursuit of it? Isn't that of accumulation of as much as you can get? Yes. Isn't that seem to be the goal?
Yeah, I kind of say the sweat is this. Can't believe. And Tommy, between the two of us, I don't know how it happened, but it seemed like Saturday was only about 3 days ago. I don't know. It's crazy, but it's Saturday night already. I can't believe that.
Exactly. Actually, go to the clubs.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Yeah,
Larry, my friend, and Tommy. Yeah. I want to tell you guys again. Thank you for being here. I'm going to bring in Mick Foley, and we will be off to the races. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you again.
Larry,
Tommy inspired me so much that even my tech and my camera was inspired, and it moved. It was moved. It was touched, literally, because it fell off. Guys and gals and pals, I want to bring in Mr. Mick Foley right about now because, again, to know this man, again, is to really appreciate the right side of humanity. Service of others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. And that's what this man does. There's no greater hero to children than the hero that makes them smile, which makes this man a hero, guys and gals and pals, of all heroes.
I really do. He's just, he's a great friend, a great person, and he's just done so much for the world of wrestling, you know. He's kept it up there in a great light, you know, and I'm from a wrestling family. And I want somebody to come along and do exactly what Mick Foley is doing. he's making something special out of the wrestling business, and you can't beat that. Still be around, and the reason I am around, a great deal of it, is because of Mick Foley. And because of Mick Foley looking after poor old Terry Funk, you know. I mean, I'm not kidding you, really. I mean, here's this old toot that's, you know, pretty darn old, pushing that 7-0, you know. And then here's a guy that goes ahead and stands up for him and fights for him.
From his treatments, and I didn't think he would even remember me when my visit was over, but I looked at his mom and she had tears streaming down her cheeks because someone cared enough to come in and try to make his day a little nicer. So don't be surprised if someone real is found. You know I got feelings just like you. When I get lonely, I cry too.
Absolutely, guys and gals and pals. That is the one and only Mick Foley. Let me bring him in right now, our third participant in this incredible living room style conversation where strangers leave as friends. Of course, there's a tournament. We know that, but at the end of the day, the crux of this thing is connecting with one another. The following individual is a man that I deeply respect and admire. He always brings the fire wire to wire, as his heart will always aspire to embrace positivity, and through the eternal essence of who he is, you bet he can put on any brush fire. With zero doubt and dismay, we are smitten. His knowledge and gifts are the best books, even those that have yet to be written. He reminds us that the best race hasn't yet been run. The best score hasn't been made yet. The best song hasn't been sung. Cheer up, for the world is young. He reminds us that the world is just eager for things that we ought to create. Our store of true wealth, guys and gals and pals, is still meager. The best house can be planned and the mightiest river can be spanned. His heart greets the masses oh so pleasantly. He reminds us that hardship often prepares all of those ordinary people for extraordinary destiny. Our glory may be fleeting, but obscurity is forever. This is why words such as I can't or won't are as never, never. To this I toast, and forgive me, but maybe I'll even boast, because we're going to tackle what's important today. So as he is about to make way, let us all listen to what he has to say and respect the message he will always convey, because his wealth of knowledge is like an intellectual buffet. This man's artistry was second to none. Move over, Sugar Ray. His legend is as intriguing as one Doc Holliday. You had goosebumps when you watched him walk the aisle or the parkway, be it live or during a replay. If he isn't in your Mount Rushmore, the greatest ever, I have nothing to say. Maybe you're just joshing me like a stand-up comedian with a certain A named Leno, first name Jay, or an Andrew named Dice Clay. He took us on emotional rides akin to any observing an NFL game played on Monday or a powerful Shakespeare play. So sit back and enjoy your dinner. Maybe it's a filet or a creme brulee or perhaps some other entree. He's brought up millions of smiles due to his kind heart. In his presence, no one will ever pout. He put it all on the line as his passion is second to none. His heartbeat is a stranger to defeat. I will always echo that sweat, guys and gals, is always the sweet, meaning that the grind is a gift, and this man's work ethic takes a front row seat. He's a member not of one, not of two, not even thrice, but to be concise, he's a member of 5 Hall of Fames and is a 3-time WWE World Champ. He's an innovator of his craft, someone who was able to revamp, whether in the ring, in a cage, or on the ramp. His dedication to his vocation made us all happy to be in his camp. He's a comedian, a New York Times best-selling author, an incredible speaker, and his charitable work is something to behold. As a human being, one needs to be sold on the fact that he has broken the mold. Even in the evening, we're all about to have a nice day. So let me end this current rhyme quick as we welcome a legendary human being and talent. Last name Foley. First name Mick. Welcome to round 2 of the tournament, my friend.
Hey, it's great to be here, but I think we should all go home because none of us can follow your intros. None of us are as interesting as you make us seem.
You're more interesting. No, I got to say, it's easy to write that for you and Tommy and Larry and the masses because you guys do so much with your celebrity. I don't want to sound sappy, but I'd rather be sappy than cynical in life. But what you guys do with your platform is you enable others to realize that celebrity is a good thing when you can do something about it. You know, the things that don't make the, the first segment of the 10 o'clock news. Mick Foley goes to a hospital. Tommy Davidson visits the kids. Larry Hankin inspiring artists who have no voice. Like, you guys are doing all this stuff, and it's not for pomp and circumstance. It's because you're giving back.
Well, thank you. Can I just allude to something Tommy said?
Please.
Peace will never go out of style as long as I'm here.
The dude.
Do love, showering
That's the
you
dude.
with blessings of peace. Ow, love. Can't understand it.
There we go. Tommy Davidson, Larry Hankin, Mick Foley. Mick, I know Tommy and Larry are on the screen here as well, but I'll ask you the magic question. Something like this has never been done before. I won't rant and rave about it, but during COVID, my litter agent said, get into the podcasting game. You write for Willem Dafoe and Goodman. I'm like, I don't want to do that because it's boring. I don't want to interview people. If I ever had a microphone and became one of those guys who interviews people on the red carpet, God bless them, but I'd probably shoot myself in the head. I don't want to interview people. I want to have conversations. Let's talk. Let's talk, as Mike Myers said in that SNL stick. That's coffee talk. Let's talk. We're talking now, but now 142 are in this round. One person wins it all at the end of the day. Mick Foley, are you here to win it all, my friend?
Yeah. I mean, it's like Larry said, what Tommy said, sorry. Larry said some profound things too, but Tommy said, all of us, or at least most of us, are in a situation where we luckily don't need that, but it sure would be nice, right? I've never been to Greece too, so $15K, I can pledge at least half of that to, a great organization. Maybe more.
Right on.
So yeah, I'd like to win. I don't like to hurt feelings, but I'd still like to win.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Guys and gals and pals, and remember, we're proving to the masses that don't know that pro wrestlers not only don't like to hurt feelings, they don't like to hurt people. Comedians are much more than their act because they'll make you think before they laugh. And artists such as Larry Hankin will tell you the best thing to do when you don't want to wear a mask is to not even try sometimes. Have the ambition, have your purpose, but be you. Discover yourself. Really quickly, I told Larry this. I went to Cafe Wa and did a stand-up set right near Comedy Cellar, and it's not what it used to be. But I remember I sat down, I told Larry, 10 minutes, this wasn't a shtick, 10 minutes, I wasn't up to it anymore. So I sat down Native American style. I sat down in front of the audience, and I said, I took a beat, and I said, I don't really feel like I'm funny right now. I don't feel like I want to do this. But you guys are here, and it's sort of an obligation, so I guess we can have a conversation if you want. And they're, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, I'm being serious. But, just let it go. And I love the fact that you guys are able to do that, show different dimensions of who you are. Hopefully through these topics, we do that as well. I'll kick it off first, guys and gals, to Mr. Mick Foley. Tommy and Larry have the same topic as well. If you want to rebut Mick, all you got to do is one of these. I'll pop in and make it official. Tommy's ready. He's ready to wage war. He's ready to go. Guys and gals, Larry Hankin is here. Mick Foley's here. Mick, I'll set up the question for you. You're granted the opportunity to travel back in time, and you have a mission to visit two historical figures that existed in two different time periods, and your objective is to ensure that they re-examine some infamous decisions they made, ultimately that led to disaster. You're going to bring someone you know from the present day, personal or otherwise, professional, it's up to you. This person's going to try and time travel with you. They're going to help you convince the two historical figures to rethink any catastrophic decision they intend on making in the past. A, which two historical figures would you visit and why? B, what event that they were responsible for will you have them reevaluate and why? And C, which present-day person will accompany you on this trip and why? My friend, the floor is yours whenever you're ready to go. Good, sir.
Okay, tell me A so I can start from that point.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Hey, yeah, we have which two historical figures would you visit and why?
All right. I would visit a gentleman who was born as Alois, A-L-O-I-S, Schicklgruber, who changed his name when his mother remarried, and he became Alois Hitler. He is the father of Adolf Hitler, and by bringing ESPN's Pat McAfee with me, we believe we could alter the course of history by making sure there is no Adolf Hitler, or if they choose that name, he's not the same guy who would go on to be one of, if not the worst person in the history of the world. He's got to be top five, right? Top five. So we would visit Mr. Schicklgruber, and also we would time travel back to 1865 and have a talk with Abraham Lincoln about possibly not attending a play that evening. And had we done that, then I think Reconstruction would have been much more, would have been better. There'd be a lot of things different. Andrew Johnson followed arguably the best president by being one of the 5 worst presidents. and a terrible human being. And I think if we could have talked some sense into Abraham, things would be a lot better all the way around.
Mick, let me ask you a question, because those are awesome choices. How, I guess this is now the how. The whys make sense and the whats make sense. How do you think you and Pat would be able to do this?
Starting with Mr. Schickelgruber.
Yes, Mr. Schickelgruber.
First of all, Matt, I've only met Pat once, right? So I can't say like he's a buddy, although when I met him a few weeks ago, we had a nice friendly conversation. He was excited to hear that. I said, I'm not like an everyday Pat McAfee watcher, but if it's on, I'll stick around for 20, 30 minutes. You know, he's very engaging. And here's the deal. We would go, first of all, convince him to go back to the name his mother gave him, because all other things being equal, in my case, I was supposed to be Mason the Mutilator. And Mr. Matt, what do you think, pal? He said, in this business, we've had crushers. We've had destroyers. We've had executioners. But we've never had a mutilator. He said, what do you think? I said, well, I like it, which I didn't. You know, I like it a lot. But what if we were to call that character Mankind the Mutilator? And he, not sure I understand it. That way, we're talking about both a person and a people, the destruction of mankind, the future of mankind. So if I was Mason the Mutilator, everything else being equal, I'm not here. Everything else being equal, evil thoughts in his head, you know, just terrible tendency towards genocide. Adolf Schickelgruber is not going anywhere. So we would try to convince him to do that. I would also ask.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think Adolf? Can you pronounce the last name again?
Schickelgruber.
Schickelgruber. You know, I like that because it's like 27 letters, but only 3 syllables. That's cool, I guess. Easier to say than spell.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. But how about this? Do you guys think, and Mick, yourself, Tommy, Larry, do you guys think that maybe since you're back there, you and Pat are kind of trying to, you know, schmooze with the guy, convince him to not be such an arrogant prick and kill millions of people, including his own, that were 15-year-old kids and, I don't know, senior citizens guarding his bunker in 1945 because he had no more army left.
Right.
But do you think you can convince this guy to maybe, just maybe, perhaps shave that little fustache, not a mustache, because maybe upon looking at it every day, you made him angrier. Maybe you made him angrier.
Well, I'm just trying to nip the problem at the bud. I'm not trying to go and convince anyone about their facial hair in the 1920s. I'm going back.
But would you slip in a hey, by the way, you're younger now, you're a young man, you don't have that mustache, but don't ever think of growing one in the future. Just as like a side reference.
Oh, for shortest distance between a point, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So listen, Hitler was born April 20th, 1889.
Yes.
So when we time travel back, July 20th would be the day, you know, the most favored date of consummation.
Sure.
But we're going to go back a week earlier, try to talk some sense into him. Maybe McAfee talks about the benefits of something that may not have been in vogue in Austria at the time, which is the oral option, which they could have explored, yielding no children.
Right.
And then if all else fails, I look up and I go, like he was a bird watcher.
Sure.
No, I just made that up. But nonetheless, if I said, is that a titmouse? Or in German, they
like
say,
dogs, too.
You know, ein Titzenmausen.
Right.
He's got to look up, and then McAfee comes in, 3-step approach, punts those nads out of existence, or at least out of commission for a few weeks, and presto, no Adolf Hitler. Or if they want to name him Adolf Hitler, he's not the same evil cell that.
Oh, that's really smart. So instead of trying to kill all of Europe, he now only has his angst directed towards future football players like Pat McAfee. I love it. Transfers.
I think we can handle that. Yeah, I think we can handle that.
It's pretty smart, actually. The hatred.
So that's what we do. So McAfee, because he's engaging, he's energetic, he probably could know something about Austrian football or soccer at that time.
That's smart.
And if worst comes to worst, he punts and changes the landscape.
Question: at any point, and I'm being really serious about this question. At any point, if he gives you guys not just lip, but if he's physically confronting you guys and not really being receptive to what you're pitching to him, and he gets physical, is there a slight chance that the thought of, I don't want to say this here on this platform, of unaliving him would be something you'd be thinking about at that point?
Unaliving him? No, I think swelling of grapefruit-esque proportion.
Yeah.
In the boys is going to be enough to keep him sidelined out of that area, because the chances of this one cell fertilizing the eggs being the most evil cell ever produced, right? I'm not getting much in the way of reaction from Larry, but Tommy, you're with me on this, right?
I'm with you. Yeah, you're back there. Just suggest shoot it in the pillow so he doesn't have to shoot himself in the head.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, save your son and save the world. You know?
And again, maybe a lot of this has to do with the fact that there's some self-hate. So you tell him not to walk around with those Daisy Dukes that he was known for because he used to stare at his pasty legs. There's a lot of things we could do here to just give this guy, maybe I do think maybe a makeover is due for a guy like Sheckelberg.
He had Adolf himself had the little minute penis, right? It was letter. I think it's in a jar of formaldehyde, clocking it at 1 inch. You know, I mean, that's the type of thing that will create issues.
Yeah.
So maybe McAfee arrives with a prescription of Viagra.
Yeah. Hey, maybe I just thought of this. Maybe his salute. We're not going to do the salute. Maybe his salute. No, we're not. I'm born, humanitarian. Maybe his salute was wishful thinking for another part of his anatomy to rise to the occasion. Maybe that's kind of what it was. Kind of piggyback off what you said. It could be, Tommy, right? It's possible.
Yeah.
Never know. Guys, we talk about everything over here. I do want to say this as well. I like what you said about Abraham Lincoln. How would you convince him? In a minute, I'll kick it over to you. When I taught history, I wasn't allowed to teach about the real history like the Buffalo Soldiers. And I'll tell you when I stopped teaching history. I was writing on my Do Now back in the days of the blackboard. I was writing about a gentleman that most people don't talk about that they should talk about, and I won't mention his name. But this man inspired a lot of people. Frederick Douglass. And there's 2 S's at the end of his last name. And my assistant principal walked in and said, Avi, as she was walking through the hallway, you misspelled his last name. There's 2 S's back. I said, that's it. I'm done. Do Now, how apropos. I was done completely. And that's just, it's sad. Like, I also brought in Diane Nash, who's a lovely lady who's one of the original freedom writers. She's still alive. She marched with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King is such an important person in Tommy's life, which we'll bring up
Larry,
later.
okay over there?
Larry, I think Larry, are you frozen, my friend? No, there we are. Because that happens sometimes with the tech. I didn't know. I really didn't know. But no, Larry, I wanted to tell you this. What's that?
Sometimes it happens with me.
No. I think the mention of Sheckelberg's penis would do that to anybody. So I don't really.
I'm listening. I'm listening, man. I hear.
No, I know you well. I know you. So yeah, I know. But I was going to say that, like, Diane Nash, a freedom writer, she was there to speak. She became a friend, and my assistant principal walked past her when I said, "This is an original freedom writer who wrote with Martin Luther King. Do you want to say hi to her?" And here's how she said hi to her. Yeah, hey, that sucks.
Who said hi to her that way?
My assistant principal that I worked for. To Diane Nash, an original freedom writer. Yeah. Wow. So that's pretty awful. And when you brought Abraham Lincoln, I'm just thinking about the chain of events. But how would you get Pat McAfee convince Abraham Lincoln, Mick?
Well, first of all, we would again nipping at the bud.
Yeah.
We would April 14th, 1865 is the date in question when President Lincoln visited the Ford Theater. So we would buy out the box that Lincoln ended up sitting in a week before. I don't know if they had StubHub at the time, but we would find their equivalent. Buy out the box, heckle the performers, write awful reviews in the paper so that you have performers who are angry. You have a play that's getting bad publicity. Maybe Lincoln decides to go elsewhere. Backup plan, this is part B. McAfee brings with him not the Viagra, but fart spray, which would not have been invented in 1865. Nobody knows what this is. Can't even conceive of a spray that is supposed to smell like human farts. So they think there might be a sewage problem in the Ford Theater, have to move the venue where John Wilkes Booth has no say, because the only reason he was allowed into the Ford Theater is because he was an actor who performed there regularly. So now we've got Two, we've got the idea of the play not being attended by Lincoln because of the poor reviews that we've written. We've got the play possibly moving venues where John Wilkes Booth is not welcome. And then plain C, if that's not going well, I say, is that a titmouse? And when Lincoln looks up, here comes McAfee with the same punt and puts Lincoln out of commission for at least a couple weeks. No Ford Theater appearance, no death of Abraham Lincoln, no Andrew Johnson as president. Reconstruction goes through in a better way. We're all better people, and we're in a country that gets along better.
The only death would be a part of him would be dead at that point.
Possibly. But his childbearing days were his child not bearing, but his child making days.
Let's try that.
Are largely over at that time. Yeah.
Larry, you're okay with that, right?
Yeah.
Tommy, is that you think that's a good plan? It's logical, right?
And he makes sense of it.
Yeah.
He makes sense of that.
Sure.
Yeah. Because Avi, let me just stress.
He makes sense of that.
Sure.
When I chose McAfee, it's largely because he's entertaining and influential.
Yes.
But the backup plan is we use his kicking skills to reshape history in a more positive way.
Never thought about that. Like a punter could save history.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, because when we think of like football players that can save history, everyone's going to go quarterback, a wide receiver. You got a punter saving history. That's pretty cool. That's like the plight of the underdog.
Tom Brady could not alter the course of human events.
I love that. And why? By the way, why did everyone flock to see My American Cousin? What's so special about our cousin? Why can't our cousins come see us? Why do we have to see our cousins? Why? We have to travel to see. Has there ever been a cousin you've had in your life that was worth traveling to see?
Who is our American?
Well, all right.
Yeah, who is Larry?
Hold on.
Say. Yeah.
Mr. Schickelgruber actually married his cousin. So
yes.
Oh,
there's a connection there.
There you go. Yeah.
There's a connection
there. There you go. Yeah. Cousins,
right.
I guess there is an attraction there.
That's very true. Okay, I got you. Yeah, this is really cool. I like where you went with this. And guys, Tommy and Larry can go anywhere they want with this as well. Look, you have to understand there's a thread here. And Mick illustrated this so eloquently because we traced all the steps. He made sure he was detailed about every single step, and he explained the whys. Larry, I'm going to throw the same question at you, my friend, and then Mr. Tommy Davidson. Larry, my friend.
The bar's been set. Bar's been set, guys.
The bar's been set. It's tough to follow. Larry, you're going back in time. You know what your mission is? 2 historical figures. They did some pretty nasty stuff back in the day. You're going to bring somebody from present day to help you convince them to not do some of that terrible stuff. Which 2 historical figures would you visit and why? What event that they were responsible for would you help them reevaluate and why? And which present-day person will accompany you on this trip and why? Larry, whenever you are ready, the floor is yours. Good.
Well, I think, I'm going to start with Amelia Earhart.
Okay.
And I just tell her don't go. I mean, just forget it. With storms, whatever excuse you can give, I don't think it's, you're flying over water. Did she understand that she was flying over water and that
lots of water too
on water? If you're flying over land, at least, you can walk away from the crash, maybe, but you don't walk away from crashing in the Pacific Ocean. It's just not possible. So that's the first one. And the second one is King Tut. And just wanted to tell him that because if he came back to today, then we would have all this history that has gone by since the last time he was building a pyramid. And I just wanted to tell him that pyramids don't work. So, it was a good idea. Hey, listen, huge, big, you can see it for miles.
Yeah.
I love the construction, but it doesn't work. When you die, and that's it. They're starting to rent out your chambers for apartments now. It's very crowded in Europe. in Asia. So Amelia Earhart, and also I got because I don't know much about history, so I just got a lot.
Sure.
Instead of depth, I went for width.
Yeah.
So I would say, let's see, King Tut. The captain of the Titanic. I'd like to talk to him.
Based on the movies we've seen.
Well, no, I mean, this is before the movie ever happened. Or the time I'm talking about.
Sure. 1912, yeah.
So let's not go that way. Let's go this way. It's just one of those discussions.
Yeah.
Have.
Sure. It makes perfect sense, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't, I think the warmer water is this way. So I would tell them again, like Amelia, we're on water. You got to think about that.
Larry, if we apply this logic, would you try, if you were given the chance? There was a great show back in the day from an acquaintance, not a friend, but a good guy nonetheless. Scott Bakula, A Quantum Leap, great guy. He was sent back in time to write history where what went wrong. So he was always trying to kind of, change history for the better. If you were doing this, Larry, and you could stop serial killers from killing, would you apply the same logic and the same approach? Hey, don't do it. Put the knife down. Don't do it. Is that all it takes? Is that it? Are you that charming that you think you can somehow lower these people's guards into not doing these hellacious acts? Ted Bundy, for instance. Ted?
I think just a nice, well-placed bullet would just solve the problem much faster and easier. I'm not a violent person.
No.
So it wouldn't be me who would be.
No, it'd be the bullet, the gun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and somebody else would have the gun, not me. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that. I'm just.
So it'd be sort of like a Charles Manson thing. Just getting the other. Yeah.
You're not going to hold me to this.
No.
I mean, so I'm just saying. I'm like, trying out a couple of different things. Okay, the person that I bring with me, that would be especially if you go back that far. I think would be C3PO or R2D2.
There you go.
There you go. I would take one of those.
That's a long time ago.
Or I'm sorry, what, Tommy?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Or either those two.
That qualifies.
Or I was thinking Buddy Guy, I think would be a really cool guy to go with.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, that especially I forgot what's the good one? Oh, Mustang Sally.
Mustang Sally, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so what if Amelia Earhart
we're going somewhere?
But Larry, here's, and this is just not really a diversion.
Everything counts, bro. Come on.
What if she does though? What if she's not receptive to that and kindly and politely tells you, Larry, it's my dream to fly over a large body of water.
Okay,
without being so experienced.
Amelia, let's wait a couple of years.
Okay. Why? Why should I?
Better.
Okay.
Or northeast compasses.
But what if she asks you, Larry, I'll wait a couple of years, but can you please come back and just give me one of these so I know the time is right now?
Sure. I'll give you one of these. Yeah.
Like, sure. Because I need to know, like, you're the one in the future. Now. Okay. Okay, so you'd give her your blessing. You'd go back and tell her when it's okay to fly.
How do you? What's the opposite of this? How do you? Oh, this. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a couple of. Wait 2 more years.
2 more years. Okay.
Boeing is coming up with a better engine.
Now, what if Amelia Earhart is the most literal person in the world and expects you at the same time and at the same day, 2 years from that particular moment, to arrive back in time, but you didn't do it because you were trying to wait for that meal in your microwave that takes 2 minutes, and you were devouring it. And then 5 minutes later, you were a little late, but nonetheless, your intentions were right, and you came back and told her, now's the time. but she already flew because she wasn't patient enough to wait for you.
But you guys keep talking. I'm going to take a quick drink break. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, drink break. Yeah. What would happen then, Larry?
Well, that's new information. You're changing the parameters.
I know it's. I swear, it's just interesting to see where
you
you went.
Me now with new information. From broadside. You just come to me from what if? Holy cow! I didn't think about what if.
Right.
What if is kind of a big black hole.
Yeah, no, because like, what if she took it literal? Like, if we were visited by someone from the future and they were literal about something, we'd probably take heed and listen to what they had to say. So again, if you're a little late, you wake up late, you did a set the night before, you're not there on time, and now she doesn't know what to do. She might be stressed and decide to fly and crash anyway now because she's stressed out at the fact that you never arrived.
Couldn't we have her fly in a seaplane so she could land in the Pacific?
That could be. That could work.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that could work.
Why don't you come with me? Or I tell you what, why don't you go
Mick.
and I'll watch the store. You go to the airport and see if you can pick up pontoons. We need pontoons.
I want to apologize to the
pontoons. That's a great idea. Okay, Amelia, pontoons. I'm just
pontoons.
Pontoons.
Okay.
That's all. Just drop it, leave it lay there, see what she does. By the way, I have one more person that I would I didn't go for depth. I went for but Jesus would be a guy I would just ask him. I'd like to ask him a question.
What's the question?
When did he know when did he know the earth was round? I want to know that. I mean, because, if he didn't know, you're the son of God. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or if he did know, let's do
the question stands to reason.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know. I'm like, or God, or his father, or him.
Do you think? And it's never a trade-off because we know what happened to him. But do you think there'd be he would take?
In other words, he was just he would just blab all over the place.
You think so?
He was a talker, man.
He was a talker.
You get in trouble. You talk that much, and you're going to get in trouble.
But do you think he would take solace in the fact that years, centuries later?
I would argue he got trouble.
I'm sorry, say that again, Mick.
I would argue that Jesus got into good trouble.
That's what I was thinking. You read my mind.
You brought that up earlier, Larry. Good trouble.
Jesus so there's the thing about good trouble. Go figure.
Do you think he would develop an ego? Larry, question for you because you picked Jesus. Do you think he would develop an ego if centuries later he knew he was depicted visually as a Fabio type with the long flowing hair and the tan? And would there be an ego, and would that hurt his message?
Definitely. I think he's better off. I think let's just leave it the way it was.
Okay.
It would be.
He was probably shorter back then. He wasn't 6'1". Yeah.
It would be a bad. It would be a bad rap against him.
Okay.
If he had ego.
And Larry, last question before I kick it over to Tommy. Do we give him brownie points because we know back then men specifically were shorter? Do we give him brownie points for being so charismatic, despite probably being about 5'1", 5'2"? He wasn't an imposing figure.
How do you know that?
I don't.
We didn't find the body. Did you find the body?
No, I never did.
Well, then how do you know how tall he was?
No, it was an educated guess, Larry. Educated guess. He wasn't as tall as you. You're a tall guy.
I'm a tall guy.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I could be Jesus.
Yeah. Guys, we're breaking new ground here on the celebrity tournament. We really are.
Well,
we have NFL punters.
I'm just saying.
Preventing World War II by kicking Hitler in the nuts.
Yep.
Larry Hankin making a very good argument for being Jesus Christ. And I want to apologize to Tommy for not knowing how to follow Mick and Larry right now. This is going to be very interesting to say.
Okay, we'd be fine now.
Yeah.
All this bullshit going on now wouldn't
Sure.
be happening.
That's
if we
true.
just, kept it on the down low.
But then who would talk about the bullshit?
Well, no, I'm saying you can talk about it. It's just,
Right.
Like social media and stuff.
It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. No.
Rude. It's rude.
Too many voices. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Guys and gals, I think also what Larry's saying is Jesus might have had in the social media climate of 2025 some competition. He would have had a little bit of competition. Maybe he would have had more than 10,000 followers. I don't think he had 10,000 followers actually back then. So today, that wouldn't be a good metric, right? That wouldn't be a good statistic. It'd be a statistic he would try to surpass more than 10,000.
Well, if he's going to, say, hey, it's not flat, it's round. Why didn't he say that?
Oh, then it'd be a viral sensation. He'd be viral. He'd go viral. Yeah. I see what you're saying. No, I'm with you.
Viral, and we would be a lot better off now, knowing that the world wasn't flat back then. It was round.
Okay.
So I think he was a miss. He left out some information. He was thorough. I don't think.
I guess back then it was easier to shortchange the public when you could walk on water. And you know what? Combine that because Amelia Earhart was flying over water. Jesus walked on water. Is there a way Jesus can convince Amelia Earhart to not make that mistake? Yeah, because he has credibility. He walked on the same water that she's trying to fly over.
He got the message. He's getting the message.
Yes. Oh, I'm seeing how you're tying this now. This is great. It's a writer's room. This is good stuff. I like this. This is
okay,
fun.
now the last thing was
there's someone else you're bringing with you.
Well, I said C3PO.
But, right. Yes.
There was another thing. The second part of it was
Larry, can I pose a question?
Yeah.
There was some talk about shooting a historical figure, but you wouldn't do it. So is C3PO your gunman?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Who do I have to, who has to be shot that
I thought you made a mention of possibly
Amelia Earhart, right?
Didn't you talk about?
I said a gun would be better. A bullet would be better to stop somebody.
But why would you want to shoot Amelia Earhart?
I didn't say that.
So
no, you said you wanted to shoot one of the historical figures.
I never said.
There was a historical figure that you wanted to shoot, though. It wasn't her? Okay. It was the second one. Who was the second one?
I never mentioned a gun. Well, listen, if the president can deny things he said, I certainly can.
You can.
I never said anything. I never said that. So,
guys and gals, Larry did give us a really, really amazing thing to think about for a long time. And hey, listen, we challenge ourselves to think. Guys, Tommy Davidson right now. Tommy, I'm not going to give the whole question because we've heard it, but I'll just set this up for you, my good friend. You're going back in time. You're taking somebody with you from present day. That person will help you convince two historical figures to rethink any catastrophic decision that they were responsible for. Who do you take with you and why? Which two historical figures would you visit and why? And which, guys and gals and pals, which event would you help them understand that they were responsible for, reevaluate, and why? The floor is yours. Whenever you're ready to go.
Man, the only two that I could really think of that would help us save this present world. I think first would be Ramses. I'd stand at the ocean with him and say, dude, let him go, man. Dude, I'm telling you, let him go. We have it all. We have it all. I mean, we coming into civilization, going from gatherers and hunter and gatherers and learning how to use fire, learning how to fish, and learning how to do all these things that we can venture out of here into other parts of the world, and we setting up this whole thing. We setting up this whole thing called architecture. We're setting up this whole thing of the stars and understanding them. We got a heliosense of the earth. Isaac Newton. In the future he's gonna credit us with having a heliocentric central idea of this world, and then they won't go that way. Then they won't go that way because they think it ends there, going into the Americas. So we can save a lot of time. We can save a lot of people. We got all of our resources here. We're going to probably lose it because, we got the diamonds, we got the oil, we got everything. And then we got us. We're going to So
well, then Christopher Columbus.
Probably end up in Spain and in Europe and bring them a whole lot of knowledge that will keep them in the world market with us. I mean, come on, we could lose it all. I mean, we might be covered by sand for a couple thousand years, and Napoleon will discover us, and then they'll take that back to Europe, and it won't be even belong to us. So it's like, hey man, just let them go. And it'll come back around. Let them go and it'll come back around. And this little thing, this concept about slavery, we might want to let that go. That might come back on us.
Hey, I just thought of something. Tommy, can I butt in for a second?
That might come back on us. This whole thing, making them do all the work and they don't get nothing, it might come back.
Right.
And Tommy, you would be steadfast if I'm
trying to get into. I'm like Michael J. Fox. Back to the Future. He just the good thing about it, if he listened to me, it would be just like him listening to Doc. He'll just go, we got to build roads and stuff. And I can just say where we're going, we're not going to need roads.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa, what happened?
I guess
we lost Tommy momentarily.
Yeah. Well, there's no roads there where we are right now. And I'm assuming there's no Wi-Fi back there either. None.
Hey, while we work to get Tommy back, can I say that it's so much fun. It's like an education to hear you guys speak. Like Larry, just the different intonations. Like you and Tommy have completely different styles, but as someone who gets on the stage and tells stories, like I love seeing why stuff, not just appreciating something is funny, but why it's funny. And how two different people could have two different styles and still make everything they say really interesting and humorous. So it's been an education for me.
I had no idea where this was going to go today at all. And I love it. I really do. Like, for those that watch the show, sometimes, we take a very serious stance on things, but I like that we can somehow educate and still laugh about history. And I don't know, when I used to teach history, Mick and Larry, that was the coolest way, is to make people laugh, because at least they're invested. I have a question for Tommy, though.
Where did Tommy go, though?
I don't know. I don't have the answers to everything. What am I, Jesus Christ? I'm not playing the role of Jesus here. Remember, I don't know these things. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, this little concept of slavery thing, it could come back on us, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It could come back on us. And this whole thing, they haven't even had a Bible yet, so they're not even in it.
No,
even in it. Yeah. By the time they get up there to Europe, they're probably. And then this little French guy is going to come across us. And then this big old war is going to happen between them and Britain.
Colonization. Yes.
For all of that knowledge, for the astrology and astronomy and all that stuff, they're building, and to come back and to be able to do that with what we deem as technology. I mean, if you just let them go, we might be a part of the European global economic structure in the future.
Sure.
Tommy, were you making the shape of Napoleon's hat with your hands?
Yeah. Did you get that?
I did.
Got that?
Yes.
You got that. And that was that and Captain Crunch.
Wait a minute.
I always noticed he had the same hat. You know what I mean?
What if? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What if he wants to negotiate with you?
If he wants to negotiate with me?
Yeah.
I'd say you're losing the best negotiators now.
Oh my God.
But trust me, this is going to come back on us.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come back and they're going to negotiate with our kings.
Yes.
And some of us are going to have
I thought you were going somewhere else. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, some of us are going to have to go over to the West
on
a really long ship journey that lasts.
That's so true, though. I am really happy you didn't go the other way, though. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Thank you.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be able. As a matter of fact, I'm going to travel into the future.
Okay.
Grab one of their kind and get him not to share nuclear knowledge with them, man.
Right on. Yeah.
You dig it?
I like it.
If I can just get him,
I
call them Hebrews.
Hebrews.
You know, yeah. I call them Hebrews because they have the afro. They like
Sure.
Like the band Chicago, white guys with afros.
Right.
Saturday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody loves them.
Yes.
Right.
Or like the sounds of Rick Astley.
Yeah. I mean, Dylan. I mean, come on. All of them have a fro. Okay.
Lindsey Buckingham had a very
admirable. We're going somewhere now.
Yes. Or how about Oates from Hall and Oates? I think they broke up though.
Yeah, they did. Well, the little guy had a lot of great car collection, but the other guy took all the writing.
He got a restraining order on the other guy. Hey, what kind of world are we in? This has to be some sort of alternate universe where Hall and Oates have restraining orders on each other.
Well, yeah, but that's, I mean, you know, you're a bitch, girl, and you yeah, you know what I mean. And there's another gender that we're not going to get into, okay? Because then I'd have to think about Mark Anthony, how he lost Egypt, and
but that's awesome. And I like the way and Mick and Larry, based on how Tommy described that.
Yeah,
you would give him the thumbs up, right? You would agree. Yeah.
Just let him go.
Let him go
because we can't afford kind of, you know, that. You know, I mean, I'm sure once they get to Europe, man, then Portugal and Spain might get the skills.
Oh,
1492, they're going to roll out of there.
Yes,
with nautical skills.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get that head start.
And their idea of nautical skills isn't like going.
No.
Over to the gold.
No.
They don't want a part of the world economy. They want the world economy.
Yes.
And then we don't. And then if I go further into the future,
sure.
The inhabitants of that whole North American thing,
sure,
can own a little of their land instead of casinos. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So that would work in the economy now.
Yes, it would.
Because we got a president who's gambling. So I'm thinking that those two can really help me. And then right about the time when my man Einstein comes up with the formula,
sure,
take him into the future and let him watch Planet of the Apes.
Ooh, yes.
You know, and I'm sure that his most entertaining scene is when Taylor actually rolls away with the woman on the back of the horse. But you know, what's the greatest time for me is a like 8-year-old because something's happening here and I don't know why. Right. You know what I mean? I know I see this and that's horrifying. You know what I mean? But this chick on the back of the horse. I mean, I don't care where you go and take her. And I was 8.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
And we get to see how similar. And the Pharaoh would never know this. Okay.
No.
But I would be able to say to him, dude, you're being like Dr. Zayas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're being like Dr. Zayas. You're being hard-headed. You know what I mean?
Cynical. Dr. Zayas was cynical, wasn't he?
Very cynical. They don't know anything about themselves. You know? No,
he wasn't a positive guy. Yeah.
He wasn't a positive guy, but he had some wonderful flip-flops. Because what they did was they separated the whole monkey foot. I thought that was great. And he was one of the orange ones. And the orange ones, you know, the orange ones had the knowledge. You know, the orange ones were the scrolls.
Sure.
You know what I mean? When I was a little kid coming into Washington, D.C., and my mother told me that I'm black, I said, no, I'm brown. Because crayons. And they said, but your brother and sister are white. And I said, no, they're not. Sometimes they're pink and orange. So, so when they go into the sun, they go orange.
That's so awesome.
Interesting thing. You know what I mean? It gets cold, they'll get pink.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So they're kind of pink and orange. So when I saw my first movie in the drive-thru in Fort Collins, Colorado, the black gorillas scared the brown gorillas scared the hell out of me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The black ones were just vicious, but then the browner ones were really, really kind and compassionate, you know. But the orange ones were like kind of assholes. You know what I mean? So
and you moved to Washington, right? You moved to Washington the week Martin Luther King Jr. got.
Right. And I would like both of them to take a ride through Washington, D.C. in the tear gas and the flames and stuff to kind of explain why I came to get them.
Right. So it's kind of so you're using your time machine to open up these portals to illustrate and showcase what could happen if he makes this decision.
Yeah, and that can help the economy now.
Wow. Okay. I like it.
You see, because then we kind of know, well, wait a second, that guy's orange.
That's
You mean
a good
Trump?
point.
Trump?
I mean, there's no denying.
Was that a Trump reference?
Yeah. That well, I'm
No,
keeping
that's
it-
cool. No, I just want to know about the orange part. Yeah.
That way.
No, I
it's
agree. He's
objective.
orange. I agree.
If
Yeah.
I keep it history, it's objective. Him and Tony the Tiger are orange. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and we know that Tony the Tiger, endorses a product,
Yeah.
right? That basically is about enriching the children, but it is
Yes.
part of the essential breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes got sugar on it.
Sure.
To me, that reminds me of sugar cane and the whole slave trade. So we're back at that again.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tommy, this isn't fair. Tommy's
Yeah,
working
but
on
no,
a different level. Yeah.
I'd say to Pharaoh, hey man, you might be canceling one of us out of being in this thing called the White House, which is pretty cool. Because a guy is going to come along eventually and he's going to make orange cool. What he's going to say about
Wow. There's a lot of layers here. Yeah.
because he's what he's gonna do, and as a commander in chief, what going to point out is that he's gonna be able to say things.
Yes, Mr. Obama.
So simple. Say things and convey stuff so simple you can't tell if he's black or white. First of all, and second of all, he'll be able to analyze something that's good about orange. Like Donald Trump. All right. I mean, you got the Bengals, they're orange and black. I mean, come on. I mean, come on, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes, Mr. President, you are right.
Yeah, and then you got the school, the Orangemen. All right, now
Right.
we're going to Jersey and somewhere in New York, so we're back there. You know what I mean? And so, and then we got the orange and the red hair of the Irish. We wouldn't have March Month. We wouldn't have New Kids on the Block. I mean, we wouldn't have none of that, and we wouldn't have RFK. Right. So yeah, and they're supposed to be so lowly, but come on, they're the right on brothers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that go right on.
What you're saying is we can have a world where somehow the void that were the New Kids on the Block and RFK is no longer. They can coexist.
I think you're going exactly where I'm going because that's what the whole telecast is about. So here, just in one analyzing of what Kellogg's Frosted Flakes
yes, sir.
represent.
Yes, sir.
One of the Tiger
Yeah.
was fond of children. And he did all the things that children did. He loved those activities. He could skateboard. He could do anything they would ride a
Yeah,
bike.
that's true.
He wasn't like Michael Jackson. That's a whole other thing. But what the wonderful thing about it was he knew that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes taste good.
Right.
But he also knew they were a part of an essential breakfast. So when you see
Not
them
the part,
advertise
yeah, right.
and children having fun, they didn't lie about the product. They said, hey, we got a carafe of orange juice. Carafe is a bottle that holds the milk that makes it look
The
good.
grapefruit, yeah.
Exactly. And it's next to bananas and apples.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So it's a part of this essential breakfast. So if you have sugar there, you're not thinking about Cuba and Bay of Pigs or any of that stuff. You're because that's non-existent. And you think about 60,000 black guys with machetes, that would scare me too. And I'm not even white. So he would break it down so simply.
I like how he prefaced that too. Yeah.
So simply, and he just say it's a part of the Sunday breakfast.
Yeah.
Tony the Tiger is fond of children and their activities.
Right.
And when we're referring to children, like God, children of
Sure.
And Pharaoh had like 600. So
yes.
So he'd understand that. He'd definitely understand that. He's worse than the Osmonds by
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
The Osmonds got down like that. Okay.
Sure.
So oh yeah. And let's not talk about Utah and going out there and the wives and stuff like that. so what he would do is he would make something unimportant sound important by just the simplicity of it.
Yes.
So, Under the Tiger loves Kellogg's Frosted Flakes for children, but it's a part of an essential breakfast, not the breakfast itself.
Not the breakfast itself.
He rocks this blue bandana.
He does.
Doesn't mean he's a Crip or a Blood or anything.
We're relating to the kids.
Yeah, blue blood.
Blue blood. Yeah, blue blood.
I believe he was a working class tiger.
Right.
Not like the old. What was the old gas tiger?
The one
From the guest. I know. I forgot the name. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he scratched your ass off. So yeah, you know, he wasn't smiling at all. He represents petroleum.
Yes.
Come on. And he's a tiger. You better watch out. Right.
Yeah, he's more upper middle class.
So, yeah, he's nothing like the Bengals because they took the word off the damn thing and made it look like
it's true. He's got like a house in Great next to him. It's true. Yeah.
People trying to read the damn thing on the helmet.
Yeah.
So he says it's a part of an essential breakfast. Okay. All right. And I love to interact with children in a healthy way. Okay. I rock this blue bandana to let you know if some of them get loose, they'll go to West LA and turn into a brick. Okay. And that'll come back on your ass too. So
disclaimer,
suburbs and all that stuff, and then fentanyl that
trickle down.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, we're enemies of the whole maple leaf thing, and that's
God forbid, yeah.
And then that reminds us of the war of 1812 and all that stuff, and Tecumseh and all that stuff. So we're not going to go that far, but they're part of an essential breakfast. Okay?
Not the essential breakfast.
Not the essential, but
yeah.
The main part is Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are great.
Oh,
and somebody else is trying to make America what?
Great again.
Right. Well, it's been great in the first place. That's my spiel.
You're saying we don't need the again. We don't need it.
Right. We go back to the beginning.
If we go back and trace these steps. Yeah. There is no again. Yeah, it makes sense.
Little boy blue on the man on the moon.
Man on the moon.
Right?
Yeah.
We get together.
We'll get together, Dad.
We'll get together then, friend.
Yeah. Yes. You know, we'll have a good time then.
I know we have a good time then.
Yes.
You see, so everything that we needed.
I like the Ugly Kid Joe version.
It's right. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't imagine that the poorest whites in Britain would bring us the most beautiful thing. And it's called Yellow Submarine. If you jump out of that, you're in deep water.
Yes, literally, and you're in deep water again.
I didn't know white people could be, poor until I saw Oliver.
Unless Larry Hankin is traveling back in time and saving you from that deep water that Amelia Earhart was about to drown.
There you go. Or when I saw Oliver ask some more gruel, I know I wouldn't eat that. I wouldn't eat that as a black man starving. But between looking at the Grapes of Wrath and looking at Oliver, I all of a sudden realized that these guys from Britain were right. Let it be.
And they were white. Also white. And they were white. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Obama, thank you for accompanying Tommy Davidson on this trip. It's amazing that you had the time and really the passion to do so, to accompany him on this trip. Yeah.
I'm no longer in office, but I started out kind of looking like, I don't know if you guys remember Mel Gray, the receiver for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you remember.
This is great. Thank you. Yeah.
They have hair exactly like Spider Leghorns. Now I look like Benson.
Benson.
Benson was a butler, but that wasn't good. That wasn't a bad thing because his sitcom ran for years. He went into syndication,
and it introduced the world to Seinfeld too.
And there you go.
Yeah,
we're coming from the apex, right?
Yeah,
to our first index.
I love it. I'm connecting it. I'm with you.
I just say, hey man, let them go.
All we have to do now with all this information is convince Kennedy to listen to Eisenhower when he warned about the military-industrial complex, and then he wouldn't trust his government and send those Cuban refugees who were cab drivers and lawyers into Cuba to get slaughtered by Castro in 1961, because then he wouldn't distrust his government and get a bullet in his head when he publicly told everyone that he doesn't want to just help the ARVN. He wants to pull out the U.S. troops so that they're not alongside the South Vietnamese to begin with. Yeah. And once he said that was all she wrote. LBJ got the memo, doubled down, and we all know what happened.
And the wars have benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, the Italians got here.
Yes. And without them, no Tony the Tiger.
Yeah. And so when the Italians hit,
no, he's a blue blood.
When they hit North America, the real truth hit them.
Yeah.
I would liken that to a certain actor that played a boxer from Philadelphia, and he came in. He had his coach come to his apartment.
Mickey, yeah.
And let's have him be the eyes of the big guy up there, saying, "What are you looking at Earth for?" And he would probably put it like, "Why you look around my house, mate? Why look around my house?"
He's judging him, yeah.
I'm not looking right. Yeah, you look at my house, mate. Huh?
Well, my house stink, Mick. There ain't stinks, Mick. I never asked you for no favors. You don't think I know why you're here? Huh? People take my phone number. People want to talk to me, want an autograph now. I used to come down to the gym and couldn't even lock her, Mick. Couldn't even get a locker, Mick.
Rocky, I'm just trying to say that a guy, you got the stuff. A guy, when I boxed, he took a nail, put it in his glove, and felt the hole right in my cheek.
Why are you telling me that? You're still looking around my place.
He's judging, yeah.
You want me to fight the fight? Huh?
Fight the fight.
You want me there? You give me my face kicked in. You want to see me get my face kicked in?
So all of that comes to bear.
Yes, all of that.
You see what I mean? So with taking one of the children of the fortunate that would get through that ocean without getting drowned and us not having to, then it all is a natural progression to bring us right back here. And the most key thing is that the Hebrew didn't. The Hebrew.
Yeah.
There's another one, they don't consider him that,
Right.
But just that little bit of information withheld. I mean, just imagine if they didn't discover that gunpowder. Chinese were using it for firecrackers, for Christ's sake.
They were.
Yeah, it was a joyous thing. Boy, did it come unjoyed.
Yeah.
We
had to ruin that too.
Yeah, you don't see a bunch of Native Americans go, well, we enjoyed that,
Right.
Yeah, but they did come up with a fire.
Wow.
Can I say this just personally? They did come up. I want to meet the Native American that came up with the flaming arrow.
The flaming arrow?
Yeah, because when it hits you, you're on fire, and then it hits the wagon, that's on fire.
Wow. I got to tell you, you guys presented some amazing scenarios, and I.
That's why we're here. We're here because of things like
Kansas,
the first state that didn't want the slavery, and then there was John Brown, and then
right.
When Kansas goes, carry on my wayward son.
They did.
There'll be peace when you are done. Now you will reach out to rest. Try no more. You see how it's all kind of.
It's all connected, though.
Coming around.
It's all connected. Yeah, and thank you also for enlightening me and illustrating to me and ruining any future viewing of Rocky. When now I realized that Mickey was just someone that was jumping on the bandwagon judging Rocky because he realized he now had a chance to fight the heavyweight champion of the world, and prior to that, didn't give a crap about him.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Dura, We're talking about that. We're talking about that population that came here and turned tomatoes into a delicacy.
Yes, into a delicacy. Yes.
See.
Yeah, and we call it gravy. And we call it gravy too in the Northeast.
The earth.
Yeah.
You dig it?
Sure, I do. Guys, this is
So it's we're not going to say we're going to change by to try, okay? And we'll do this in the lyrics of this, okay? We won't go bye Miss America, bye. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Don McLean.
We'll go try Miss America, bye. And we'll just say try. You see?
It's all connected. Guys, I think that Mick. Right? No, I think you, Tommy, and I think Larry and Mick legitimately saved us from any catastrophic event that could happen.
I mean, you wanted to send us there.
Tommy, but would good old boys drinking whiskey and rye know to change those words?
Never. But that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
We never would have had Leonard Skinner.
No, that's true.
We never would have had Jack Daniels.
No.
Unfortunately, we had to pull the liquor out of Canada, but hey.
Yeah, that's very true.
We've tried other stupid ideas like prohibition. So,
this is great. This is great. It's a history lesson. It's a history lesson. That's what we're getting here. Getting a history lesson. Let's hang in there together.
And one guy with one eye, would probably, and he was Yiddish.
Sammy Davis.
Yeah, he was Yiddish and black, and had one eye.
He was.
So he was in trouble everywhere he went. He couldn't even see straight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
he probably put it like, well, first of all, he take this out because it's not Christmas, and it doesn't. And if you take a high and put it in there, that would hurt because it gets these edges on it. So he would really just, you know, he would sing probably the national anthem and make it different. What kind of fool am I? Never fell in love. You see how it's coming around.
Guys and gals, Tommy Davidson.
That's my contribution.
Mick Foley, Larry Hankin, Barack Obama, Sammy Davis Jr., Don McLean. Everyone here is trying to make a difference to make the world a better place. Even Mickey from Rocky, who somehow wants his another chance at success at age 85.
Hey, Bobby, if Tommy doesn't win this round, this thing is fixed.
Like Theodore Roosevelt, man. You know what I mean?
What an adventurous man he was.
We need his quote now.
Yes.
You know, the mechanic son has to have just as much of a chance as the millionaires.
I agree.
You know what I mean? He wasn't perfect, you know.
I agree.
But that was a perfect ideal. To go
we should hang on to that. We should
go into the slums of New York and just say this is wrong. To have a whole family, you know, making cigars when they
amen to that.
Buy a, you know, to confronting a police force.
Amen.
It wasn't enforcing. And the most important part of that whole thing was it was the first time in this country's history that all of us lived together in one place.
That's very true. Tommy, I always say, I wish we don't have to wait for days like September 12th to get together when we could have done it on September 11th or the 10th.
Yeah, and he beat us to the punch.
Right.
And I like him because black people always hear his name because half of us are named Roosevelt anyway.
Yeah.
So, but those are reminders. You know, we're kind of a reminder. You know, you're going to always run into a shitload of blacks that are named Washington, Lincoln, Wilson, Roosevelt,
absolutely,
Kennedy, Jefferson.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we know. That's why we know that we are who we are. We're like Popeye, you know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man.
And we dig
really
each other. We dig each other, man. We're different.
I love that.
But the best thing about watching Popeye was watching them chase after Olive. They loved her.
They did.
Us looking at her, we're going, that's no Betty Boop. But,
yeah.
And I was like 7, you know what I mean? But I'm going, they like that chick. For some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, that taught me which women to not pursue. So that was a good thing. No. I wanted to tell you this, guys. That's Tommy, Mick, and Larry for topic 1. Topic 2, we'll get out of here real soon with topic 2. But please, to our sponsor, to Universal, to Amazon Prime, to Progresso Soup, product placement coming next week for the show. Thank you guys again, and thank Mick Foley, Tommy Davidson, and Larry because
come on, man, look at this, man.
You guys are.
Look at who we got here.
The 3 of you guys are absolutely incredible, and it's my honor to be able to peel back the layers, have fun, and educate the masses at the same time. And you know what? We'll always go back in time to remember where we came from, and hopefully this 60-second video of those we lost who were affiliated with TKN will remind everybody how this started with those who are no longer here. I hope you enjoy this 60-second video.
Oh, yeah, because we're all on what? The Soul Train.
Yes, sir. Video of options for Gallagher, more underrated than why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep, soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Did you have fun?
Yeah. I haven't done an interview in 20 years.
Me too, yeah.
God, I miss him.
Yeah.
That was a chance taker. Boy.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom.
There he goes.
How are you, my friend? Yeah.
I love that guy, man.
I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time, if you'd like me to do that, Tom. All hard
that. Wow, that was something else. I don't know what I can do now.
Oh, please.
That was terrific, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And you know what? As charming as a guy that you are, man, and as honest as a guy as you are, and as down-to-earth as a guy as you are, you played a character that isn't so down-to-earth named Scrooge in college. You played Scrooge. And, of course, I feel like a thespian should rely on their instinct. Do you feel like you rely on your instinct a lot as a storyteller as well?
I mean, playing Scrooge at that young an age was, when I think about it now, only way I could have done it is I was relying on my instincts. You know, I could have done it the other way. Okay.
More underrated and why? Unicycles, Italian men named Skippy, or sophisticated dinosaurs?
What? More sophisticated dinosaurs?
Yeah, is that?
I want to say the sentence. Italian man named Skippy. I just want to say.
Yes. Yeah, Italian man named Skippy.
I just want to say the sentence. Italian man named Skippy.
Yeah, something you'll ever hear. Yeah. Did you have fun? Did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. It was ball.
Yeah, man.
I want to do it again. This is great.
I just think it's going to be, a lot of fun for people.
Love that guy, man.
Yeah.
Here, I don't think.
He was a sweetheart.
I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it, because I know it's going to be interesting and see if people tune in and stay tuned in, and I really hope they do. And I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
Man, thanks for that.
Day before he got into a coma. I teach a workshop, and one of my students finally said about my class about iambic pentameter. He finally said, "I got it, and he was excited, and it was both his elation and those 3 words that make it worthwhile, right?
Amen. You got it. But I think I've got to have equally passionate people involved in the production of it. That passion will override any reservations anybody has as to the show's potential for entertainment or education.
Did you feel as if transitioning to the stage and performing live theater was a natural fit for you?
Yes, I did. I always felt very comfortable on stage. More so on stage than I did in film or television. So I'm looking forward to you, Avi, giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing, and I think
Thank
that's
you,
been
sir.
the secret of my career. And this is a beautiful piece of writing, as I said. I'm referring to the piece that you wrote me. You're onto something because you're a writer. You're a creative force, and I want to hook up.
Thank you so much for those kind words, guys. Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double for me to you, Avi.
Love that man. He was a friend.
Yeah.
A good friend. Look at that.
You guys would have loved my dad. We loved you guys.
No, I can tell. He's got the Namath mutton chops.
Yeah, the mud chops from those 70s. I'll say this really quickly because topic 2, but I want to say that, like, if my dad was here right now, he would like laughing and learning at the same time. He always said to me when I taught history before I worked as a screenwriter, he said, if you can find the balance between making sure your students are loving what they're learning while being yourself, go for it. But don't ever try to sound like a history book, because it's not what you know. It's whether or not the people you're speaking to know something based on what you're saying and what you're telling them. It's kind of like contacts. People think, I know this person. It's not whether you know somebody. It's whether or not they're willing to say they know you. And I think a lot of that has to come with a sense of authenticity. I'll go over to topic number 2, and then we're going to get out of here. But my dad would have loved this quick game. But play it. Only a couple of these. I don't want to do too many. But it's called More Underrated or Why. What do you think more underrated of the following, Tommy, Mick, and Larry? Mick, if you could jump in. What do you think is the more underrated of the following trio of options I'll present to you? More underrated, the letter Z, salt bagels, or pinky toast?
Number 3 is pinky toast?
Yeah.
Pinky toast.
Yeah, I go with that.
I don't know what pinky toast is.
No, pinky toast.
Oh, pinky toes.
Pinky toes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soft bagels, what's choice 1?
Salt bagels. I'll say it like a New Yorker. Salt bagels.
Bagels.
Pinky toes or the letter Z. Salt bagels.
I love salt bagels.
Okay.
If they are thought to be underrated, then I'm going to go and publicly endorse them and appreciate them.
I like that answer. Salt bagels.
Yeah.
Tommy, we have the letter Z, salt bagels, or pinky toes.
I'll go with the pinky toe, because if you lose it, you got to throw away all your shoes.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
Larry, would you concur?
You can still kind of get in them.
Yeah. Well,
But
Larry,
that
what do
one,
you think?
It's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I never thought about how that if you don't have a pinky toe, you can't use any of your shoes.
Right.
Larry, what do you think is more underrated and why? Salt bagels, pinky toes, or the letter Z?
Go ahead, man. He's stretching out with his
Yes.
What's that?
Yes, T-O-E-S.
T-O-E-S, pinky
T-O-E-S, pinky toes, plural,
Right.
toes.
Well,
Could
let's
be
see.
singular.
The first one and the second one has been. I'm going to pick Z.
The letter Z.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. The letter Z.
And all of them are picked. See,
I think that's a great pick. Yeah, all of them are picked. So we got to be a little fresh
Man
about
right
this.
there. It's practical man.
I'll give it up to Mick again. We'll start with Mick again. Mick, I got another trio of options, and then we'll start topic 2. What do you think is more underrated and why, Mick? Hanging up a phone conversation without resorting to the overuse of the words "got it," "mm-hmm," and "yeah" 47 times. German men named Billy Bob or lazy alligators.
I mean, all alligators are lazy until they bite you, right? I mean,
yes,
they float, they bask in the sun. They don't seem to be a problem.
But do you think, Mick? Do you think they have egos because they always have their mouths open as if they're expecting you to walk into it?
Right. Look,
Such egos.
I'm known as the guy who was thrown off the top of the cell.
Right.
The real bravery comes in the form of a guy who was caught on a security camera rescuing his dog from the jaws of an alligator. He actually went into the jaws, got badly scratched, and
saw
retrieved
that.
his small dog.
Right.
That's bravery. So I don't know if there's been a lazy alligator. The other two, just tell me again, Avi.
Sure. Hanging up a phone conversation without resorting to the overuse of the words "got it," "mm-hmm," and "yeah" 47 times, or German men named Billy Bob.
Well, I don't know that anyone actually has conversations on the phone. I do know that when I go to Comic Cons, there's about 1% or 2% of the population that doesn't understand the social cues. Okay, anyway,
yes,
and,
thank you.
So you have to find ways to let them know the conversation should be over before you go, dude, you gotta leave me alone. Like, exhaust those possibilities before you go with total honesty.
Larry, sometimes would you? I think, Larry, are you the type to just go, "We're done" right away? We're done. You're bored of a conversation. Are you the type to just say, "We're done"?
Well, I don't say we're done. I just hang up.
I love it. I love it. And Mick, of course, German men named Billy Bob. There has to be one out there.
Well, I don't understand. I'm having a hard time understanding that. Say that again.
That's the point. What's more underrated? Encountering a German man named Billy Bob, right? That would be an option. Hanging up a phone conversation with someone, I should say, that resorts to the overuse of "got it," "mm-hmm," and "yeah," or lazy alligators. What's more underrated?
Oh, the hanging up. Nobody
hanging up.
does
Yeah, hanging up.
except
It's
me.
underrated.
Come on.
Well,
It's underrated. It feels good. Yeah.
Well, I know one is obvious and the other is overrated. The obvious one is you always know a lazy alligator because they end up on a black pimp's shoes. in Detroit, and
oh no!
And the obvious is a German guy named Billy Bob because the highest, the largest group of Europeans in America are Germans.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah,
it is true. Yeah.
Really?
So there's got to be one named Billy Bob.
There has to be. There has to be. Although there's a funny story about a Billy Bob Thornton who's still with us. This is something Bill Paxton told me when I used to write for Bill. Bill Paxton told me that one day Billy Bob Thornton was watching Amarillo promotions, watching Terry Funk, the late Terry Funk, who was a dear friend of Mick Foley's. And he was making fun of wrestling. And Terry Funk grabbed him by his suspenders, a young Billy Bob, grabbed him by his suspenders, spanked his bottom blue, and said, "What do you think of us pro wrestlers now?" And Billy Bob tells the story that's the day he respected pro wrestling because of Terry.
Because Terry was his cousin, right?
There was something there. I don't know.
I
But he
think
spanked
Terry
him in
Funk
front of
was
the audience.
Billy Bob Thornton's cousin.
Yeah, there was some connection there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story, really, by Bill Paxton. So that story. So, guys, again, we're going to get out of here. Topic number 2. I guess the last one is this. How about this?
Avi, can I just put something out there in the atmosphere? As we were talking
I want
about
you to. Yeah.
rumors, we're talking about orangutans. I got a call from a producer. His name's going to come to me. Said he wanted to do a story, but wanted me to try to find its, whether it's true or rumor. the story was that John Cena, when he came out to Los Angeles, was talked into fighting an orangutan, which is at least 10 times stronger than any guy, right? No matter how jacked you are, John was jacked. And that apparently John Cena was knocked unconscious, left in an alleyway. And I was asked to find out the truth level. So I got in touch with John's dad, who I actually know better than I do John Cena.
Right.
Told him the story. He came back with an answer. He goes, I don't know what this means, Mick, but Johnny told me to tell you I am the orangutan. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
That there's a story out there that a pro wrestler would take on an orangutan, like just not even think it through, just say.
And Mick, they used to take on bears, right? They used to take on bears.
I wrestled a bear. Yeah,
you wrestled a bear, yeah.
I did. It was my third match. I wrestled a bear, but it didn't end well for me. It never does. Never does.
What kind of incredible?
It was a brown bear.
A brown bear. Okay.
Yeah, brown bear.
God Almighty! And there are levels to that too,
right, Larry? Do it again, Larry.
Polar bear.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Larry's like, step up your bear game. Get a polar bear.
Smart man. Okay.
Yeah,
you got to stay away from
Larry, you think his bear game is weak? Really? That's I wrestled a grizzly bear, a brown bear. Guys and gals and pals. Oh, but polar bears are more dangerous.
Black bear.
Oh, black bear.
Black bear.
Okay.
Nah, they're not. Yeah, they're kind of. No, they're tough.
Wait a minute.
Look,
Mick wrestled a bear. Wait, Larry, Mick wrestled a bear. Can we take that in for a second? He wrestled a bear.
That's
incredible.
Listen, Mick's an ex-wrestler, okay?
One of the greatest.
He knows damn well that if the bear is white, he not messing with it.
No. No. Right. You don't mess with a bucktooth bear.
Yes.
Well, I mean, let's get this straight. You wrestled a bear. You didn't bear wrestle a bear.
Bear wrestle a bear.
I wrestled a bear.
Okay, I got it.
I'd only had 2 matches. I went to a card. They didn't have a spot on the card for me.
You didn't get scratched or anything? Did you get hurt at all?
My pride was injured. I think the bear was declawed.
And they put a muzzle on him, I think, or.
Yeah. Okay. But I was trying to be entertaining.
Oh man! Hey, you put boxing gloves on and a muzzle on you, and I'll wrestle you.
Wow!
I jumped on the bear's back trying to be entertaining when it was on all fours, and it stood up suddenly, threw me, 6-7 feet across the ring. And I stayed on my back until it covered me because I was terrified.
That's crazy. That's insane.
It was crazy how much stronger it was than anything I'd ever.
No, but I'll give you. Come on, how many percentage of men or women or humans can say they got in the ring with a bear? That's awesome. Hey, Mick, you like good dad joke coming up? Disclaimer: did at any point during the match, did the bear with you while you were adjusting? I have to go there. It's just
the other famous.
I have
there is
to.
a famous bear story. All right. So just a little wrestling history before we go into the final question. In the Southern Territories, wrestling, or all the territories, there were 36 regional territories. When the bad guy or heel, when they had a certain level of heat, the bear was going to come in, right? Because no man could take on a bear. Like, oh, let's see, he's going to take on a bear. And here's a guy who's worked for, 6 months to a year in that territory, maybe a 15, 20-year veteran. Has enough heat to merit the inclusion of the bear.
Wow.
And as he's walking to the ring, a fan pats that wrestler on the backside with a handful of honey.
Oh, my God.
When the bear is brought into the ring to face this horrible heel, he immediately takes the guy's legs out from underneath him and proceeds to go to work with that muzzle, getting in his tight
trying to lick him and, Hey, I'm glad we didn't hear the end of that because it was getting.
That was crazy.
You illustrated that well, Mick. I got to tell you, Mick, wherever you are, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't know you had censorship going here.
My God,
I didn't know you had censorship going here, boy.
No. I'll tell you what. After that story, we should though. I mean, anytime I can handle anything, but when I hear a story about a bear up in my grill, I'm done at that point. I've dated some women, and there's some stories. S&M, and we'll get into that one day. But guys, Mr. Larry Hankin. Second topic, our final topic right now is before us. Larry, if you could inspire a 25-year-old version of yourself with one quote that could be useful in life, what quote would you choose to express to your younger self and why? The floor is yours.
Okay, Larry, I would say to me, Larry, think about what you want to be doing when you're 65. Oh, no, wait a minute. The first thing I'd say to me as 25 is, Larry, you should have run away when you were 15. The second thing of any importance I would say to me, that's what I would really say to me. The second thing I would say is, think of what you want to be doing when you're 65 and start doing it tomorrow morning. That's it.
That's right on. That's really cool, man.
Good.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. It's coming from you, so you have to listen to you. I'm thinking if you're 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I learned.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. Guys, these are about quotes, and again, inspiring younger
I want to shout at Mick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
I sit on the chair of a foundation in Orlando for Down syndrome.
Oh, cool.
Every year, they take some of the biggest wrestlers.
Yeah.
They get together with the boys. I mean, and they really, those boys really work hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they get in there and they got their routines, and it's the most energetic thing I've ever seen, because it's not like, it's not like Special Olympics. It's wrestling.
Yeah.
That is a different thing for those kids, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whenever we go to wherever we're going next, just give me your contact, because the guy that runs that, it's the most beautiful thing you ever.
It's happened again. Tommy, can I tell you something really quick? Yeah, Mick.
You can make that happen, right?
I'm going to make it. I want to say this. Not only will I make it happen, Tommy and Mick, I want to say this to you guys really quickly.
Pass out.
Yeah, I was going to say this. We're on a streak over here. The streak is, and this gets me goosebumps organically. It never fails for 2 years. Anytime, every week now for the last maybe 50 weeks of doing the show, we've had celebrities on every Saturday. People I know, people I've never worked with. Every time without fail, after each episode is about to end, on air or off air, 1, 2, or 3 luminaries request each other's numbers. And that's what I love about this. That's what I love about
this. It's for me, it's what it's all about.
I love that. Would you guys agree, again, being sappy? My tagline is strangers leave as friends. That happened tonight, right?
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey,
I love that.
Yeah, we're trying to move from the human race into mankind.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That was my wrestling name. Yeah.
Mankind. Yes. That's so. We're already writing the writer's room. I love this. And guys and gals and pals, right now I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Tommy Davidson with that same very question. A quote. If you could go back in time, my friend, to revisit a 25-year-old version of yourself with one quote that could be useful to a 25-year-old Tommy Davidson, what quote would you choose to use and why, good sir?
No means not yet.
Cool.
No means not yet.
That didn't work when I tried on my ex-wife.
But if I'd have known that earlier, that was that simple.
Sure.
I had to live to that truth.
Sure.
I live to understand that truth. Because no is a hell of a thing.
Yes, sir.
It's a hell of a thing. It's just what it is. But it really, it's the experience with no that you see how insignificant it is to your growth. So I would tell him that no means not yet, because knows a mother hunchy. They Irish.
Yeah.
The Irish, grew their own food.
Yeah.
Had farming. They were fine. Although Brits said, we'll take the food.
That's right. They did. Yeah.
The population of African Americans for 400 years, man, they picked that stuff and that you built an empire industry off of the money from
Sure,
that.
sure.
And there was no receipt, you know. Now, I'm saying this to say not yet means where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not to push against it and say, you know, you said no and you denied me of the do. It's just not yet. And when that time comes, you know, when that time comes around, you know, who was it? The Carpenters?
Love the Carpenters.
Yeah. They were serious. You know, we've only just begun.
Yeah. Yeah.
To leave wireless and promises. A kiss of luck and we're on our way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hey, look, yes, Tommy.
Yeah.
Yes means possible, no means never.
This is a small cluster of years that we've been considered the cats on Earth.
Yes.
We're in historical perspective, we're low on the menu.
Yes, and you know what? I brought this up during Larry's first round match with Richard Karn and Devon Dudley. I mentioned how right now, this country is the equivalent of a 15-year-old that's rebellious. Whereas in the 50s, we were like that rosy, positive, optimistic, gosh all darn it, 9-year-old kid who just loved life, that beaver to gleaver existence that was being portrayed. And now we've grown up and we're angst-ridden and we're rebelling because we're a young country.
That's why the 70s were so cool, you know, because there's that song. Oh, what a lonely boy.
What a lonely boy. Yes,
what
sir.
a lonely boy.
Yeah. Yeah. And they well placed that song so well in Boogie Nights, by the way. Yeah, totally agree. Hey, you know? I feel like right now, like, I don't know why. I feel like if you think about where we are now, it's almost like our country's become a place where the blind can go sightseeing because our youths are so lost within themselves that they grow up without any sort of structure whatsoever. We're back to that. So in that way, we haven't really regressed as people. We've regressed when it comes to the principles and the foundations that haven't been built, that always need to get built and rebuilt every generation. Somehow we get lazy like that alligator that we talked about. And when it's sort of a myopic conversation, but if we're not laying the groundwork every single day, eventually any foundation is going to crumble.
Yeah, man. And we're subject to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
We're subject to human
technologies, right?
Yes, Larry. Yeah.
Technology is being passed on by devices.
Yes, we're being passed on by devices. Yeah. It's happening. Guys, Mick, the same question for you, my friend, and then we are out of here.
Mick.
This is come on, Mick. Come me. Yeah. Hey, quick trick Rocky trivia. Which is the only Rocky film where Rocky experiences a win, loss, and a draw? Rocky 3.
Oh yeah, okay.
Rocky 3. He loses to Apollo once. No, he loses to Clubber Lang once. He beats Clubber Lang, and then he draws Hulk Hogan. So
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And that's also the only Rocky where Rocky and Apollo hugged for an uncomfortably long time.
On the beach. Oh,
that was with the half shirt.
With the short, the John Stockton shorts. Yeah, I could do without that, Tommy.
A wrestler, dude.
Okay. I could do without that, yeah. But it wasn't so much. It wasn't so much the hug. It was the after hug. It was the after hug. Yeah.
I love the respect that Rocky showed wrestling, though.
He did.
You know, Thunderlip's like, that's what it's all about. Well, I don't do a good Hogan.
He knows something good. He knows.
What's that, Tommy?
Terry Funk, Paradise Alley. Absolutely.
He knows something good, man.
Yeah, he did. And you know, Terry Funk did the fight choreography for Rocky 5.
Yes, he did choreograph
Tommy Morrison. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's why there's so many wrestling moves in that fight scene.
And you know your films, Mick, because I think if I'm not mistaken, what inspired you to write your book, Tatum Brown, was the movie Affliction with Nick Nolte and James Coburn, because you love that movie.
Yeah, that was one of them, just to see how evil somebody could be. And somebody had, very rarely do I see a copy. I wrote 2 novels, so very rare to see one of them at a signing. But somebody did bring it up to me and said they liked it. They weren't expecting it to be that dark. And I said I wanted to be about a guy who had a choice. He had a choice between right and wrong, and you want to root for him because he's got some likable qualities. And then
well, your father in that story is considerably more charming than Coburn, so.
Yeah, he is charming, and I had a couple editors like, we like the book, but he has to, he can't turn the way you want him to. And I was like, but that's what the whole story's about, like.
Sure.
Maybe it would have sold better if I listened to them.
It's a beautiful book, guys. I'll send you guys some stuff that Mick has written. You won't mention it, but again, New York Times bestselling author, great stuff.
Yeah.
And Tommy's book. And Larry's book, all of your books that you guys have written. We can have a library here because you guys have written some amazing works that our audience should know about, that they will know about very soon. But I cut Mick off, so go ahead, Mick.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I just want to say something to you, Avi, and Larry and Tommy. Is that I consider myself to be a storyteller, but storytelling is part of stand-up comedy.
Sure.
The wisest words I ever heard were said to me by Judah Friedlander when he saw me walking off the stage.
Great stand-up
after
comedy.
Bombing on a level I didn't know was possible. Where I'm trying to follow really great seasoned comics doing like their 8 to 10 minutes that they worked out, and I tried to go up there and wing it. And I literally turned to the audience at one point and said, if I was in a pool, I'd ask for a life preserver. I'm drowning up here.
Oh,
and I got a little smattering of applause. Judah stopped me before I walked out and never stepped foot on the stage. Dude, it's not as bad. I'll give you the short version here, the Cliff's Notes version. But basically, Judah he reaches into his back pocket, he pulls out a stack of index cards like this.
Yeah.
And he's got words and arrows like for his crowd work. He said, this is the words. He says, dude, if what I'm doing on that stage looks easy, it's because I've worked really hard to make it look that way. He said, dude, if you're willing to put in the work, I'll take you out with me. And so I'd go to New York City from Long Island twice a week for free, and he would give me 5. He would just call the club, hey, it's Judah, I'm bringing a friend, can you do 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And I was getting the reps in and also learning what it was like to fail so that I could appreciate it so much more when it didn't. So I just did my first show in Detroit, went really well. Nice. I just threw a bunch of stuff out there, and now it's the process where you go, okay, how do I punch it up? What do I keep? What do I discard? How do I make it better? So I just want you guys to know that I take it really seriously. Sure. I love what you do. I'm learning just by being here with you and seeing the way you guys phrase things, even if it's just the intonation. I really feel privileged to be here. So now I'm going to take you with my
and that's by the way, that's the opposite of what happened when Dave Attell in the Comedy Cellar watched me perform the first time. He said, "Don't ever get back on stage." But go ahead, Mick. I'm sorry.
Did he really? Brendan Berg, friend of mine from Australia, goes, "Mate, you want to know the difference between a funny guy and a comic? Funny guy goes on stage, bombs, never sets foot on stage again. Comic goes on stage, bombs, comes back 10 minutes later wearing a different hat, talking about how bad the guy before him was." It's like, it takes some courage to get up there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here's my quote. I'm going to do a little preamble, okay? Because my wisdom is in the lyrics of a song.
Please.
Did you ever take a walk through the forest, stop and dream while among the trees? Well, you can look up through the leaves right straight to heaven. You can almost hear the voice of God in every breeze. And here comes the lyric. You've got to stop and smell the roses. You've got to count your many blessings every day. You're going to find your way to heaven as a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses along the way. That's on Mac Davis's greatest hits. And I think that's so appropriate because I stopped and smelled some of the roses. So Vince McMahon was always big on talking about grabbing for the brass ring. And every time I've asked a wrestler, do you know what that means to grab for the brass ring? They've had no idea. And I say, well, in the old days, the merry-go-round, a carousel, they would have a mechanical arm that reached out and it would have a hold a brass ring. So you'd have to ride by and try to scoop it with one of your fingers.
Yeah.
The reason they went, there's only a couple in the country now is because you're kind of inviting lawsuits by asking people to lean over across their horse and grab a metallic object. So I would say, the key to enjoying wrestling or life is to be reaching for that brass ring while also not forgetting to smell the roses or the flowers. Because a lot of us have the opportunity. I've worked in 38 countries, all 50 states.
Wow.
And there are some guys who do that and have never seen anything but airports, gyms, arenas, hotel rooms, tanning beds. I at least got out there and did a bunch of things, but I haven't done them like in 20 years, as far as visiting museums and historic battlefields. So I wished that I had taken more time to appreciate the things along the way.
But it was tough to do so because it was lather, rinse, repeat. You were lucky if you found a Denny's at 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah. Well,
anybody.
You had to work at it. Like you had to take time out of your day.
But isn't that true, Mick? Like even at 5 a.m., a pro wrestler, if they found a Denny's or some diner that was open, they can consider themselves fortunate because they were literally seeing maybe the inside of a hotel. Maybe they were seeing the surrounding area in a cab somewhere. Then they have to sneak in a workout, go to the arena for the match, and then it's lather, rinse, repeat all over again.
Yeah. So for me, being on that stage, doing the storytelling, stand up, it's as close as I can get to being in the ring. And unless things go really off the tracks, I don't wind up in emergency rooms anymore. So
I hear that.
I love it. But I would advise everyone to stop and smell the roses along the way.
And Mick and Tommy and Larry, since this is the first time we've had 4 comics on one show, Larry, myself, Mick, and Tommy, wouldn't you agree that if someone does have a desire or maybe he's afraid of public speaking, they don't have to try to pursue a career out of it, but try to do some amateur stand-up. Get up there, see what happens, right?
See what happens, yeah.
It's tough. No, it's tough.
Go ahead, Tom.
It's just like your foot can't tell the temperature of a pool.
Right.
So everybody's in there having a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, but your toe's going, man, F that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. But it's not until you just close your eyes and make that plunge that you see it's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's such a good way of putting it. That's such a good way of putting it.
Even if you don't want to stay in there.
Yeah.
At least you know what you didn't know before.
Yeah.
That's such a good way of putting it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This has been an honor for me. Guys, I'm going to play a quick 60-second tribute for Tommy, Mick, Larry. I played you one last time as well, my friend, because you're a special part of the show. Before we bid you adieu, Larry, do you want to tell Tommy and Mick anything at all, my friend?
You were going to say something.
Just keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking, baby.
I love that.
And
Larry, we're going to talk off screen. Let me know if you got that email.
Hold on, there's the black light poster.
So we could
remember.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Keep on trucking, baby.
Keep on trucking, man.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know what, Larry? I'm going to talk to you very soon. Let me know if you got that email. We'll let you know if you moved on to the next round or not. And thank you for coming here, thanks for being a part of this second round. I will see you soon.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, here I go.
Larry Hankin signed out right now, guys. The great Larry Hankin. We're going to find out.
That was like one of the guys that was with Kirk on the beaming device. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're just going. And, you know what I mean? Spock didn't know where the hell they're going.
I like how in Spaceballs they literally got it ass backwards when Mel Brooks gets transported. All we see is his ass first and head twisted. Thought that was kind of creative. I'll tell you what else, guys. Again, 2 out of 3 move on to the next round. In round number 3, it gets a bit trickier and more difficult. If there's what we call a 3-way match with 3 people, 1 out of 3 move on to round number 4. If there's a 4-way match, 1 out of 4 moves on. That's 25%. Now 66%, 2 out of 3 will move on. We'll find out thanks to your votes. And remember, voting is a pure thing here because it just means that someone resonated with you. It's not that you have to grab this pitchfork and say, I vote for that person because they were better. There's no better. We're all one and the same over here. You're going to vote on whose stories resonated the most with you. So thank you, audience, because you guys invite us to your living room, and we appreciate you. Mick and Tommy, I've got a video first for Tommy. It's about 60 seconds. It's sort of like a memory lane video. And then a 60-second for Mick as they depart.
I didn't know it.
Before anything, Tommy and Mick, you guys want to let each other know, please, the floor is yours.
Big boy did it.
Hey, like I said, I just started my tour. We're hitting about 30 cities. Just go to my website, realmickfoley.com, click on events, see if I might be heading to your part of the world.
Yeah, I want you guys to let our large audience, who thankfully have been growing, guys, 3 million strong. Thank you for doing what you're doing and really letting people know about the new network, because we are different, not for the sake of it, but we're going to stay different. It's not a podcast. We call Saturday nights an event. Hopefully it is an event. Tommy, anything you'd like to tell Mick before I bid you do, my friend?
Yeah, man, love you already, bro. Good God, man. I want to talk to you today.
I'm gonna give you guys each other's numbers.
I really want. My best friend runs that. I want you to know him now.
Yeah,
I love that.
And then I know you too. You know.
Yeah, you know what I really liked about you, Tommy, is that you're listening. You got a really comforting smile. And like you have enough confidence in yourself to let other people shine, because when you have when the spotlight's on you, man, like I said, it was a lesson in
tour de
force, just a lesson. And as you're doing that, I was like, man, I am so glad I went with Pat McAfee. I was going to go with Barack Obama. Because I was watching the guy, he has a great way of expressing himself. Yeah. But I was like, I don't do an Obama impression. And I was thinking maybe I could, like enunciate some words. But if I went and did a second-rate Obama, and then you come in with
Oh my God,
me trying to do the jumping scissor move, y'all do. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, we ran
like a necklace. You know what I mean on your neck.
Bill and Ted and their science project in high school. Move over. We beat that today with our high school project, history project. Mick, please don't go anywhere. I'll put you backstage in a quick moment and then play your tribute video with you on air. Thank you, my friend. That's Mick, guys. We're going to see the legendary Mick Foley in about 60 seconds. Tommy, my friend, this is a thank you tribute video from me to you. Yes, he is.
Oh, wow.
Family, guys, it's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, Keen I Remains. Great book, Living in Color, guys. Please get it on Amazon. I'm going to put the link up. Irvin Magic Johnson. Oh, man. Love that. Love that.
The baby.
Just turned 3 at that picture, right?
Yeah. The baby.
There he is.
Knocked out.
He's in this tournament. Maybe Tommy will see Sugar Ray in this tournament. Halle Berry.
Me and Hal. Me and the blonde.
Amanda, love it.
Local news everywhere. My best buddy David.
Yeah.
Hey.
Family.
Yep.
It's all about family.
Yeah, I love one.
Mr. Martin Lawrence.
Ian Morton and Ray Martin.
Yes. Oh, there we are.
Me and Mark.
Yes, sir. 4 years ago.
And the big fella.
He loves
There's
you.
The family again, man. My daughter.
I like that shot. I like it.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, before you depart, I want to take these glasses off and look you in the eye because I respect you a ton, and I tell this to everyone we have here. Quality human beings, including yourself. Did you have a nice time, my friend?
Yeah, man. When I knew it was you, it's an automatic yes.
Thank you.
Because you just don't get moments in this life where you get to experience pure good. Pure good.
That means the world to me. Thank you.
Pure good, man. Pure good. And you got to understand pure bad to know it,
Sure.
And that, like seeing your dad and
thank you.
Just knowing everyone's background. I mean, the first time that I found out that I was different than my brother and my sister broke my heart, because I thought that we were like animals. Because me and my sister and brother grew up on farms and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Sister used to love litters. You know, if there's kittens coming, man, we couldn't wait till they were born, or puppies, or a colt. You know, and then one thing I always notice is that the mom could be a different color than the litter. And I thought we were like that. I thought I was a brown one of what we are.
There's a beauty to that. There's a beauty to that.
Yeah, and so I was heartbroken by that. But I think it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I never stopped seeing us like that. I never stopped seeing us like that.
Yeah, you said it. The only color you see is love, man.
Yeah, I never stopped seeing us like that.
That stuck with me when you said that 4 years ago.
I don't care what color the kitten was. If you took it away from the mom, it would leave the rest of the kittens and come and get it.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter what color it was.
Yeah.
It was one of hers, you know? And so I always remember that, you know?
I want you to know something. Your presence is a present because you make people look beyond that dirty word we call color. Because color is not something that people don't see. It's something they shouldn't see. And luckily for me, combination of my upbringing, parents, and being raised in New York City, where I was the only Caucasian in Queens who was cutting geometry class to spit rhymes, by the way. I wish people can understand what it's like to be raised in a melting pot, but I also wish people can understand what it's like to still keep learning about other people's backgrounds, because you talk about your background in such an amazing way where many people would have been handicapped by the obstacles they had in front of them. You weren't, man. You see people for, I think you meet them at respect. You meet everybody with respect at the beginning. And that's a beautiful quality. I already consider you a great friend, and I can't wait to break bread with you one day, my friend.
Hey, man, I couldn't say no. And New York is a different place when we grew up.
Yeah.
You had D'Agostino. You had freaking
D'Agostino.
You had Jerome Mackey and 42nd Street. And,
yeah.
You know, Puerto Ricans handball during the summer. And
yes.
You know,
fire hydrants. Yeah.
Being open. And
yeah.
You can ride your bike to every borough.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's just, I'm glad I had that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, you know, when my wife told me, yeah, it's coming, I was like, yep. Because this is not out there.
With 1 day notice. Thank you.
Yeah, this is not out there. Not in quantity.
Thank you.
You know?
Well,
it takes one to know one, bro. Love you, man.
Love you too, man. This is always a home for you.
Doing it, bro.
Thank you, my friend. You too.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon, man. You have a great one.
You got it, man. Oh, I'll be in New York. Are you in New York?
Really? Yes.
I'll be with Cat Williams. In Brooklyn.
Okay.
So if you want to come?
I would be honored, my friend.
It'll
Absolutely.
Be fun, man.
I can't wait. I'll definitely text you about that. Thank you.
My guest. And
Thank you, my friend.
Get me with Mick.
Yes, we'll get you Mick's number.
You can give it. You can give it to my wife.
Yep.
I want him to talk directly to this guy.
Wow.
This guy does the most amazing thing with people, and that's what I do.
I would be glad to, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Man, thank you, man.
You're
For
awesome.
real. All right,
You too.
love you, man.
Love you too, man. Guys, Tommy is such a class act, man. I want to bring in Mick. Mick, I'm blown away by Tommy. I'm speechless by what a human being. But like, you know, people say things like what a great human being. They say things that they mean. Of course, some people can't be blamed for not articulating themselves. We're not all wordsmiths, but to be able to see a different side of the comedian that most people don't see, that most people don't accept, because they see the comedian because they need a laugh, and then they realize they need something more, and like that's the humanity that he offers. And I'll say the same about you. I love how the two of you connected.
It's pretty cool, right?
I think it's cool.
Dude, I just like to explain the shirt. Woofle.
Please.
Yeah, I had shirts made up for my two dogs, and we lost Randall last month, and so I wear one of their shirts about every other day. Yeah,
I dig the shirt.
On these shirts, yeah. Woofle. Yeah, Woofle.
Man, I want to tell you this, man. I'll say the same thing I told to Tommy, but I'll put it differently. I think when I knew you were going to be on, And I try to wear all the hats I can for this show. I don't like having assistants. So I try to do as much as I can, whether it's editing, whether it's whatever. And I knew that no matter who you'd be on screen with, you would connect with them because you have a way about you. Like, you make people feel comfortable right away. You make people feel at ease. It's a beautiful quality. Yeah.
Appreciate that, Avi. Thank you.
100%. I do hope that you enjoy this trip down memory lane from me to you.
Well, I thought you were talking about my trip to Greece.
That too, guys. Mick Foley might win it all. I hope he enjoys this, and I think he likes this song.
I do. Oriemus.
Yeah. Great story with this song. We're going to find out next time, guys.
You got it.
Yeah.
Snow can wait, I forgot.
Jude Love.
Yes, sir.
Perception.
Kevin James. Wow. Rick Martel.
Get a little warm in my heart when I think of winter.
That's awesome.
I put my
That's your son Dewey, right?
Yeah.
Putting the Sacco on boat.
Great moment.
Where the drifts get deep.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Sleeping Beauty, it trips me with a frown.
Before the beard went gray.
I hear
Yeah, beard looks good.
You must learn to stand
There it is. Great book.
for yourself, cause I can't always be
Second New York Times #1 bestseller.
Another one.
First New York Times.
Yes.
make up your mind.
ECW.
The best promos.
Yeah.
You gonna
Beating Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Halftime the Super Bowl.
Me and Terry Funk.
make up your mind.
Van Hammer and Rick
Things
Rude.
are gonna change
Leon White.
so fast. All the white horses.
Vicky Finn. I'm dropping a double.
There he is.
Terry Funk.
Tell you that I'll always
Me and Noelle, my daughter.
Awesome.
You say that
Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Dominic Taducci. That was Hub Edwards. We sang a song for Hub.
Got to play, right?
Owen Hart, Terry Funk.
Owen Hart.
Susan Boric, the prettiest girl, one of the nicest girls in high school.
Nice.
waiting for the sun. Years go
Very
by
cool.
and I'm here
Second match in my career.
Wow.
First match in my career.
Wow. That's what it's all about.
Marco.
Mirror, where's the
What it's all about.
crystal but I only can
win.
see myself
Third memoir.
skating around the truth who I am. But I know that
Terry.
this is getting thin.
Bruno.
Wow.
Wow.
When you gonna
My
make
dad.
up your mind?
Wow.
When you gonna
Beautiful family.
love you as much as I do? When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause
Man, that's beautiful to see some of the great moments that you had take place in your life personally and professionally. And you've given people a ton of hope because you've not only broken barriers, you've changed the way people think about what they want to pursue. If you want to pursue pro wrestling and you look at it one way, you've given people a different way to sort of look at it. You've re-scrambled people's thought processes. As a writer, with no need of a ghostwriter, doing all the work yourself, there's so many things I can and will say about you, man. But you're a family man above all, and that really speaks to me.
Thank you, Avi. I appreciate it. What a pleasure to be on here with you and Tommy and Larry.
You had a nice time?
Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you.
Like how different the show is, Mick?
I do. Yeah, I do. I love it. There's nothing like it on. You know, you get to know each other by talking about these, what seem like silly, I mean, we're trying to make light of,
Sure.
obviously, ridding the world of Adolf Hitler before he's born it's a serious subject, but we have some fun with it. You try to make dangerous things, a little more palatable by adding a little humor to it. And I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I hope if I win, I look forward to coming back.
On, my friend, I will be in touch very soon. And thank you again for being you, my friend.
You got it. Thanks, Avi. Have a nice day.
You too. Great Mick Foley, guys. Great human being. Right now, guys, I'm going to tell you this before I bid you all adieu. Larry Hankin, a very interesting guy to get to know. He's got a beautiful heart. He thinks about things before he responds. Mick Foley wears his heart on his sleeve. And Tommy Davidson, so passionate about talking about his journey. So, yeah, we'll have fun. Yeah, we'll have some laughs. Yeah, it's going to be long. It'll be a long show. Yes. But hopefully it speaks to you. Hopefully it's different. Hopefully you enjoy our living room style conversations here, because there's nothing stylish about it. It's as real can be. So thank you guys and gals and pals for enjoying this episode.
Oh my God. What? All right. Holy God.
This was the match we wanted to see. We've seen it. And now we're going to vote. But you should be voting too. Because you got to see what was probably the single longest topic number one. Woody Page did not hold a candle to Tommy Davidson's topic number one.
Right.
I am flabbergasted at.
That's a good word. I like that.
There's so much in one go.
I think he covered all the history of mankind. If I'm not.
Yeah, I think he had Mel Brooks in his pocket. That was History of the World Part 3.
World Part 15 and a half. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But he also did it in so many different ways. He spoke, he did impressions, he had some comedic effects in there, he gave us some musical stylings. He literally threw everything he could into that first answer.
Oh my God.
I say that. Oh, we have a vote right here. Let's bring that up.
We're already getting votes.
Thank you.
Topic number 2.
Gracious.
Start with topic 2. Okay. I mean, topic 2 was shorter. But still, these guys were not afraid to color outside the box at all. And you know, I'm kind of sitting here stuttering, which I usually don't do. This has to have been the greatest episode today, flat out. Yeah. If you disagree with me, just leave. Just leave.
You can walk out. Look at that. Walk out. The door. There's the door.
Get out of here. Isn't that what they say in New York, Miranda? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Vote in here.
But for real though, just
look, I'm still processing, man. It's like
the voting isn't going to be as difficult as it is to maybe describe the reasons why. I mean, unless you were able to decipher a lot of topic 1, which was really hard.
At some point, I took my pen and I just said, "I'm just taking this in." Yeah,
you had your notes, you were working, and then suddenly you were just like, right as you got to Tony the Tiger and Obama,
made a debut.
Well,
Obama made a debut. What?
Yeah, Obama was here. Rocky, Mick.
Everyone.
For me, it was like in topic 1. You know, Mick started off, and it's like, oh, you know, it's gonna, you know, and then all of a sudden it went into Bizarro World with what he was, but it's still linear. And then Larry picked it up, and it started kind of twisting a little bit like this. And by the time Tommy hit it, man, I was in that Kansas tornado heading to Oz.
You ever just play basketball as a kid, and then you got like the one kid that like can't play basketball, but what they'll do is they'll like physically take the ball and put it around themselves and like, oh, you can't get it. You can't get, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. That was what that one moment where like suddenly we went from R2D2 to suddenly he's like, maybe I'm Jesus or something like that. Like we don't.
I will say this is the one show with 3 references to nut shots. Okay, nut shots.
Pat McAfee.
Historical figures.
Pat McAfee solved the world's crises.
Hunter style.
Just by nut shots. You've heard it here first, folks. Thank you, Pat McAfee, for saving the universe and also extending last names to maybe prevent the necessary, the smoothness of going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee. Thank you, Pat McAfee, for your.
Who knew he'd had his kicking leg would come in handy for a second career?
Who knew? You know, I thought he was an excellent sportsman and analyst, but now I know he's also a historical figure.
Well, sure.
I want to jot all this stuff down for like movie and book titles. You know, like Pat McAfee Saves the World, Amelia and the Yellow Submarine.
Amelia, or what was? How did he put it? I think. Yeah, I wrote this down. Amelia, don't go.
Don't go.
Just don't go. Yeah. Or Ramses putting a hand on his shoulder and say, "Bro, let him go."
Yeah.
Let him go.
Just let it go. Yeah, that was the only thing I think we've seen that even comes close to comparing was Woody Page.
Like here. I agree. Rizzo's review says topic 1 Tommy and topic 2 Foley. Okay, so already we're getting them in, right? And
hello to Mr. McCabe.
Mr. McCabe. He was tonight. Shout out
anything for Pat McAfee.
Wow. Where to even begin? What a night with these men. Now to the hard part, voting. For topic 1, my vote goes to Tommy. And for topic 2, this was so close. My vote goes to Mick. I wish it could be all 3. Well, you know, but that's the thing. Topic, wow. They're just, the comments are coming in. Crazy.
Mick came out swinging the first round, and I thought he had it, but Tommy blew it out the box.
He blew.
Is that an official vote for Tommy?
Tommy made me
pull production out of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mick took
right.
and just ran away with it.
Love it.
God. Topic 1, Tommy. Topic 2, Mick. These votes keep coming in, folks. You're doing a fantastic job. So I guess it comes down to
it comes down to
Klein.
It comes down to one thing, guys and gals, that we haven't brought up yet, because thank you, Angel. I know it's tough to vote. This was a comment that we just pulled up. I wish it could be all 3 advancing. Well, as you guys know, tech happens. As you guys know, this was billed as a 4-way.
Right.
So we bid the following individual adieu from this tournament. We will see him soon, guys. If you noticed, there were moments where earlier on we were in and out. Ferguson wanted to be here. He was one of those who probably was more passionate than, it's hard to even say that, but he was one of the most passionate people that I spoke to about round 2, because as soon as round 1 ended, he wanted round 2 to commence. So when I say hold your votes, that's a good thing. It means we now know that we can say and give applause to Mick Foley, Tommy Davidson, and Larry Hankin, because they're all going to be back. All going to be back in round number 3. Tech happens. I told you elimination happens. Mr. Ferguson Jenkins, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, kind soul, great soul. He will be eliminated. He'll be missed. But again, Mick Foley, Tommy Davidson, and Larry Hankin will be back. Who knows who they'll face in the 3rd round. So, yes, that is option. Absolutely, you will see them again. And, guys, right now, again, I was in the middle of, I guess I disrupted the party here. Kelly White, Howard Collado, Joe Rositano, Giselle Miranda. You guys heard and saw enough out of me. You guys
Avi.
can take it away right now and let us know. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Avi, no, I have a question for you. This is, you haven't mentioned one thing. I mean, we're all going to miss Ferguson because he was fantastic in round number one.
Ryan,
I loved getting to see him with Sally Jesse Raphael and, of course, John Lovitz. You can't forget that. But
John Lovitz definitely won't forget Sally Jesse.
He won't. But we haven't talked about Wednesday yet at all. Like the match, and that's kind of
actually
like
a good point, Joe. You know, I was
where
going
this
to have
portion
you guys
goes.
talk a bit more about the match, but you know what, guys? Again, Wednesday's quite the delight. If this is an extravaganza and bonanza, Wednesday night, guys and gals and pals, is also must-see TV because you're watching the Green Roomers now, but when you watch them on Wednesday nights, you see them opposite your favorite TKN celebrities and luminaries because we have something called the Team Challenge. Now, something happened you can find it on YouTube. We upload the episodes every Tuesday, but they're live every Wednesday night. So last week's episode will be uploaded this Tuesday night, guys and gals and pals. Doing the quick math, that'll be June the 10th. This Tuesday night, you will get to see last week's episodes, which featured JW and the great Stevie Ray teaming up in their first matchup against guys and gals and pals, Mr. Dr. Fink and Joe Rositano. I'm sure he's probably wondering it was a tie. It was our first ever tie in that Team Challenge matchup. And guys, if you have no unearthly idea what we're talking about, you're on the channel. Click videos and watch the last few episodes. Watch Miranda kick some butt with Cindy Pickett as she did. Watch Giselle kick some butt with Pete Babcock. Kelly's waiting for his.
And she did.
Howard Collado was without Jacques Rougeau because of tech, but hey, Jacques still in this tournament and in the Team Challenge. Joe Rositano, and of course, Dr. Fink, 3-time Grammy Award winner, no less, tied WWE Hall of Famer Stevie Ray, and of course, JW. So I did say that I would break the tie. Here's how it's going to work. Remember, guys, if you lose, you're not eliminated in the Team Challenge. This is the regular season round, which means your loss or win is reflected in the standings. When we get to the playoff round, the top 8 teams will compete in elimination matchups. So for now, your matchups do not determine whether or not you survive in the Team Challenge. If you lose 2 or 3 in a row, you're still hypothetically in, like a regular season in sports, like an exhibition round. Your wins will essentially affect your standings, and you should want to be the top seed because the top seed, after about 10 or 15 matchups, faces the 8th seed. 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. Guys, Joe tied. Well, I should say Joe and Dr. Fink. We got a couple of team names. Let's call them Finkisano. Finkisano. Team Finkisano tied Team J-Ray. So that's what happened. J-Ray tied Team Finkisano, which means that they both get a win. That's what happens when you get a tie. So essentially, they're both 1-0 in the standings. That's how it's going to work. Absolutely, except you know what, guys? That's a compliment because that's a reference to the original SNL. The original SNL, they said they weren't ready. We're talking about John Belushi. We're talking about the original SNL and Chevy Chase. So again, good compliment here to the Green Roomers. I agree with you, Eagle John. Amazing debate tonight. Brad Platt, you guys are hanging here. I love that. Guys, Joe Rositano, I answered your question. Let's talk a little Team Challenge. Again, we saw for the last 2 hours Mick Foley do his thing. Tommy Davidson, Larry Hankin, of course, as only Larry Hankin can do. But guys, Team Challenge is on this Wednesday. And I know for a fact, I have to take a beat here because I don't want to ruin the party. We're all smiling. We're all smiles here. We're all having a great time. It's Saturday night. But if I don't address this now, when will I? And we also want to address everything in front of you. We don't want to keep anything from you guys. We want to lift the curtain if we can. Giselle did kind of have an issue, speaking of last Wednesday's matchup, because Howard was one of the judges. I'll let her take the floor, but Howard was one of the judges. And, of course, we know that Howard and JW have a match coming up in the big tournament, the one we just watched tonight, the TKN Celebrity Tournament. Their matchup, as you're noticing, the matchups and some of the biggest names, they're coming out of the woodworks. So stay tuned for the outro in about 5-10 minutes. Why? You'll find out who's up next Saturday night. You'll also find out who's up next Wednesday for the Team Challenge. But I digress. Howard was judging the matchup between Finkosaurus and Rositano and Stevie Ray and JW. And Mr. Collado could not keep his foot from his mouth. He tried, but he couldn't. And it seems like it's always somehow inserted into his mouth. The problem with that is his matchup with JW is coming up, and he can't get his mind off his target, even when he has nothing to do with said match. I've got a problem with that. I think Giselle does as well. Giselle, you've had a lot of issues with Howard, but if you want to go ahead and tackle what happened last Wednesday. Maybe we'll show some clips next week. Howard was judging and clearly took shots at JW, and JW was trying to prepare himself for battle. I don't think that's cool at all, and I don't think you do either.
Oh, this is definitely a matter of etiquette. It's a completely separate tournament with a completely different prize, and I'm not sure Howard could be impartial. I don't know that he could let go of that bias. It was all over his attitude. You saw it in his face every single time he was on screen. He didn't want JW to speak. He didn't want JW to answer anything he said. JW tried. He tried to stay calm. He tried to stay cool. He tried to keep Howard on track. And Howard, you just weren't having any of it. And I don't understand how you can let that bleed over when the team challenge has nothing to do with the celebrity tournament.
Okay. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, this Tuesday, when you watch this amazing match, because it was, pay attention to topic. I believe it was first topic. I actually gave it to Team Stevie Ray and JW.
You gave it to Stevie Ray. You never even included JW in this team. He had to force himself. He had to insert himself into it because they are a team.
Yeah, they're a team, and I gave the team of Stevie Ray and JW my vote.
You gave Stevie Ray your vote. Those were the words that came out of your mouth. You forgot JW was there.
Okay, when I say Stevie Ray, I meant also JW. That's what I meant as well.
You couldn't give them both the respect they deserve for being in this tournament? Oh, you have no answer to that. Oh, you really are letting all of this bleed over, aren't you? Oh my goodness. No, see, okay, so this is going to be a problem because this is going to disqualify you from being a judge in any future match. If you can't stay impartial, if you're going to let the feelings of one competition oh gosh, wow, you are making me lose words. So devastate your emotions and thoughts that you can't see straight for another competition. I don't trust you to judge anyone.
Look, Giselle, I gave my vote to the team. All right. Does it matter if I said JW or Stevie Ray? They got my vote.
Because there's a person there, and that person deserves respect for being in this competition.
You're enjoying this, ain't you?
Enjoying what?
No, you're enjoying this. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying putting the stab right behind my side.
I don't want to hurt you. I want what is best for the competition. Of course I want to win. I want to win both of them. We all do. But
why are we letting him in? Why? I respect you. I respect Joe. Yes, me and Kelly have a lot of beef at times, but I respect him. I respect men. I do not respect JW. So why are you giving him the respect? That makes no sense to me.
What reason has he given you to not respect him?
What I've been saying since day one, you guys don't see it coming. Look, he flashes his little white teeth, his pearly white teeth. Okay, but his intentions are destructive. And you guys don't see that.
How can you possibly know that?
I've been here long enough. Giselle, I know.
And how long have they known each other?
How long have known each other?
How long have Avi and JW How long have Avi and JW known each other?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because
Of course it does. Of course it does.
talking to you.
Because if you know
Giselle,
somebody for so long,
Giselle.
you know their soul. You know everything about them. Of course it matters. Why would I
Giselle.
let somebody in?
Howard. He said, stop yelling at her. He said, stop yelling at her.
I'm sorry, I'm a passionate guy. I wear my
No,
feelings
you're a
on my
prick.
sleeve.
Shut up.
What if I don't want to shut up, Kelly? Huh? What if I don't want to shut up? Huh? What if I want to speak my mind? This is what we do here in this platform, right? We speak our mind. Well, I'm speaking my mind. All right?
Well, the thing is, you're talking out of another orifice. That's the damn problem. And you're doing it in front of one of our peers, in front of the engine. And just like you wanted to rub JW around on his match with your shenanigans on Wednesday, but I gave them my vote. I gave them my vote. You know what? How about all the people watching, maybe first-time viewers that see this attitude of yours towards a fellow contestant on what is supposed to be a new top-end show coming out with networks and sponsors and all this stuff, and you want JW out? Maybe we want you out because you're ruining the whole damn thing. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about anything besides Howard Collado in the last flipping year? Answer me. Because I've still got a bone to pick with you with a little thing that started well before the Celebrity Team Challenge. Okay? Well before. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Howard? I leave you some eyes as a reminder because I've not forgotten. Do you remember? Little tournament, a green ticket. You had to play the fool. Had to run your mouth. Had to have the entire audience thinking we were both buffoons after I actually gave you an extra week. See, you do shut up, don't you, Howard? You do shut up when the truth smacks you straight into your flipping.
Shut up! Shut up, Kelly! You don't know what goes on inside here.
Do you?
You don't know what goes on inside here. Yeah, Kelly. Yeah, I could be a buffoon sometimes, Kelly. But I'm sorry, we're not all perfect like the great Kelly J. White. I have my flaws. I try to work on them every damn day. And sometimes I fall short. And sometimes I try and get up. And then people like you and people like Giselle just keep on building and throwing rocks and more rocks. Who that is without sin cast the first fucking stone.
Are you going to cry? Going to cry?
Yeah, Kelly. Yeah. Yeah. What if I am going to cry, Kelly? Huh? What if I am going to cry?
You going to cry, poor Howard?
Because there are hurts. There are hurts that run deep. And I could look at another man in the eye. And tears in my face. And tell him I'm still a man. Regardless if I fucking cry.
I'll tell you what, Howard. I'm going to let you prove that. Because guess what? Next Wednesday, I'm taking my shot in the Celebrity Team Challenge. That's going to be my warm-up. Because right after, it's going to be me and you one-on-one to finish what needs to be finished.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Fine.
And here's something you're gonna love, Howard. This is something you're gonna love. Yeah, let's dangle a little bait. You like that bait? You like to bite on it, don't you?
Yeah, what do you got?
What do I got? Since you're such a man, if you lose, you shut up and you walk away from the Celebrity Team Challenge. Flat out.
What?
Yeah. That's the stakes.
You have 5 seconds to answer, Howard. Do you agree to those terms? Do you agree to those terms? Do you agree?
Are you a man or a mouse?
Do you agree to those terms? If you win, I promise you that when you face JW, when it gets real on a Saturday night, as one of the final matchups in this second round of the celebrity tournament, I'll throw you a bone. But you got to respond now.
Fuck him out. All right. Okay. All right. Fine.
Y'all heard it. Everybody heard it. No shenanigans, no chickening out. It's set in stone. And you can cry from now until then if you want to. Just don't get it on my shoes.
Challenges. You know what, Kelly? I have a bone to pick as well. It's not even necessarily about you even. But I think it's something you'll understand.
Lay it on us.
See, there's someone I want in this tournament. And while, yes, Kelly, you and I have our own beef, our own things that we're going to deal with. And we will. I don't think that this king of the black boxing really should exist anymore. If there's not really any main host anymore. But you know who's made this whole journey painful? Who's made my time the worst time trying to get back into TKN? It's one obsolete member named Hauser. Hauser is also in this Black Box Team Challenge or Celebrity Team Challenge, even though he does not deserve the right. It has been a thorn in my side ever since June of last year. Well, I want him in that challenge. And I want him in the tournament as well. Javi, if you can make it happen with these points, bring both him and Jason London to me in that celebrity team challenge. And then we'll see which one of us is going to advance.
Oh, that match is going to happen. And if you want it to happen if you want it to happen sooner rather than later, you're going to have to give something up. You're going to have to give something up because you're facing me and Megan and Hauser Odalock in a 4-way. Again, when things get real on Saturday nights. So if you want your hands at Hauser, you got to do something for me. You got to do something for me, Joe.
How deep can we go?
We can go very deep and we can go very far.
What
might,
do I?
You might even go. You and I might even go to. You and I might even go to a different continent on that Saturday night. You and I are going to go exploring keyword together. We might even go to the Middle East, you and I. And wherever I go that night, you go. Whatever we talk about, let's not go any further. Remember that deal I had with Kelly a while back?
Yeah.
I got your back. You have mine. That's all I'm going to say. And then I'll deliver you Hauser. But I got my sights set on somebody else.
Mark.
I got the wonderfully intelligent, highly charismatic, multifaceted machine known as Megan. So wherever I go that night is wherever you go that night. Do we have a deal?
And I get Hauser?
Sooner rather than later, of course. I love it. Old school green room wheeling and dealing. Joe Rositano, consider it done, my friend.
This is fun. First of all, Howard, I told you not to mess with Giselle anymore. This feud has gone on way too long. I have to have another talk with you guys. Secondly, I have a message for Phil. Because I saw a little video taking shots at me. And I really think that it is just all insecurity. Because he knows that this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago now. That he has won a match. And he thinks that he can hold that over my head and come back basically from the dead and win this upcoming match that I have with him. Phil, it is embarrassing at this point. You are just embarrassing yourself. Let it go. You know that I have done more in these 2 years than you have done in your whole life. I am ready for this. Trust me.
Trust you?
Oh, look, there you are.
Yeah, here I am.
Hello, Phil.
I should trust you. You've done.
Where'd he go? Oh, there you are. Got scared for a second?
Hell no. I fear nothing. I fear no one.
Mm-hmm.
I especially don't fear you. Where do you come off saying you've done more in the last 2 years than I've done in my life? What is going on in that head of yours? Where are you getting these ideas? You're wrong. You're wrong. You are wrong. You hearing me? Forget about it. More in the last 2 years.
Phil, I'm hearing, listen, I'm hearing you, but you're not saying much. When you first came on, was it last week or the week before? I was shocked. I'll admit, I was shocked. I was upset. I was fuming. I calmed myself down. I collected myself. And now I realize that this is all this, Phil, nothing to back it up. That's what it is.
What do you have
Just
to back
this.
up? No.
What do you? What do you? Why don't you tell everybody?
I did beat you when it mattered. In
When it
the
mattered,
big tournament.
this is what matters, Phil. This is what matters.
And when we meet in round 2, which is coming up soon, you're going to see what I'm talking about. You better pay very, very close attention. Because you're just running around here like you're something special, sitting on your pedestal. Well, guess what? You're going to get knocked off that pedestal, and the fall is going to be hard.
Really?
You digging this?
Really?
Yeah, really. Absolutely, really.
Because who won the blind faith tournament, Phil?
Congratulations.
I did. Won the blind faith tournament. You lost.
Hey.
You lost, Phil.
That out.
You lost.
I give credit where credit is due. You did very well in the blind faith tournament. You even beat Kelly White, who seemed unbeatable. But when it gets down to the serious business of the Celebrity Grand Tournament, that's a whole different ball game. You don't know how to play that game. And I'm going to show you. Right. I'm going to teach you. Yeah.
Sure.
Guys and gals and pals, let that gleam be turned into a roaring fire. Miranda's ready for Phil. Phil's ready for Miranda. Miranda, you have final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, if you think that this matters, Phil, right? Why was it that I'm the one who won the blind faith tournament? If this matters more, you didn't win that, okay? I won that. This matters more, right? So who do you think is gonna win out of me and you? Who?
Me.
I know you're like delusional.
Me.
You think you're gonna win. You're not.
Right.
Not. Just letting you know.
Guys, just seeing what's going on over here. Will their attitude determine their altitude? Guys and gals and pals, it is outro time. As I bring in the gang who look shell-shocked as they should, because there are things happening right now that have everything to do with the TKN hosts. They're on deck. The third rounders are waiting patiently. They're also giving you a bit of a different energy, a shift in energy, because they know round 3 is on the horizon. That means they know their matchups and their names could be called very soon. And the second rounders amongst us. There's about 5 of us on screen now. We are waiting for hours. That means one of us next week might be facing our competition. One of us could be facing our opponent or opponents, plural, next Saturday night. This outro will determine who you'll be seeing next Saturday night. The final lap is upon us. Not many names are left, but some of the heavy hitters are, including Joe Risitano, Phil Justin, Miranda, Howard Kalau, and yours truly, Avi Klein. What matchup will we have for Wednesday's team challenge? That's at the end of this outro. But first, your top 10 that are still in round number 2.
Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
I discovered acting and became fascinated by theater, and it rerouted me completely. As a matter of fact, when I was a senior at Brown, I had an alternative, trying out for the Boston Patriots or going to Yale Drama School. And I went to Yale Drama School.
Wow. I get a note on my door the next day, my storefront. Joseph Chaikin wants you to be a member of the Open Theater, his company. He was there last night and he heard you perform your story. So on the basis of the story of doing that and being vulnerable, a male being vulnerable inadvertently, I got this gig working, and I worked with him for 8 years.
Hopefully I inspired a lot of kids from the time that, from my 34 years in gymnastics. But in the end, I came to the realization for me that my legacy is going to be my kids.
I know what it looks like when loneliness sort of takes over and when the heart is not feeling as strong or as it could be. And what I loved about the movie was this tenderness underneath this person that Audrey Hepburn was playing.
My life is wonderful. I've been very careful in my life to live a healthy life, to teach my children how to live a healthy life. Because, I think that there are genetic things that every family has that you have to watch for.
But being able to get critiqued critically and not be offended or be told that you're wrong and you have the wrong perception or perspective on an issue without getting offended. It's like we're so sensitive in this culture now where, people don't want to be told that you're wrong.
And if you listen to a lot of Bruce Springsteen music, that soundtrack by John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band sounds so much like a young Bruce Springsteen.
And they said, this is Jesse Ventura's idea. And I said, oh, what is it? He said, if you really want to get some heat, how about burning the American flag? Ooh. And I said, that's not heat, that's murder. My father, my uncles, they served in the military. And I said, but I tell you what, why don't we take Hulk Hogan's t-shirt, put it on a flagpole, and I'll say that's Americana. That's a sign of Americana, and I'll light that on fire.
But being there at times in the summer when it was 120 plus degrees and seeing the camaraderie and the brotherhood, and I speak that in a generic sense for both male and female, the brotherhood of soldiers being family. I believe that it's one of the reasons is because it's an all-volunteer army. They may not choose to be in Iraq and Afghanistan, but they chose to be in the army.
I come back out, hit Eddie over the head with a chair, and I caught him with the chair a little bit. And either he had juiced or it caught him hard way. I'm not sure what happened, but he got some blood coming down him. And I turn to the mother and go to put my hand on her, but what I'm doing is she grabs the hand, so it looks like I'm pushing her down, but she that way she can take a bump without getting hurt. Is what it is. You know, she's 74 years old. I think that's what she was at the time. She goes down, and you could hear a pin drop, and I'm 2 feet from her, and I'm thinking this woman's had a heart attack. That's how good she was.
That particular year, they asked me, would you like to go? We're opening up the Martin Luther King Memorial in about a week, but it's not open to the public at all. But if you'd like to, we'll give you a private showing of the statue of the memorial. I said, yeah, I would love to do that. And I remember them taking me in there. Here it was, all by myself. You know, I think it was with my assistant who works with me.
And I was so glad I had the advice given to me years ago by Don Belisario when I did my first series, which was called First Monday. He had told me at the time, he said, look, in terms of your character, you might want to pick something that's close to who you are. Because if you do a show that's got legs and it's going to go for a while, you're going to find out, if you make him too weird or obtuse or something you can't relate to, you're going to have to draw on stuff you don't know about. If you can draw on who you are a lot, you can, you know. And so I did. I said, all right, I'm gonna make this guy Italian American, you know.
The controversy is how can you have it both ways? How can you fight for people's freedoms, but you still hold people against their will? So the human life element, property. You can say that it was financial in some cases, but anytime that you look at the situation, the controversy of the North and the South fighting, and they both have slaves, at least people had servitude in the North. Every year, everybody would pay their respects. Now you don't even know when people pay their respects. When the presidents used to go out to what was that, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where they say an airplane, my government told me an airplane crashed in Shanksville. I never saw it. It just proves that wrestling is more than big guys in tight clothes. It's more than high spots and finish. It's even more than the psychology of the respect for the other person's life and making sure that works out best and first before everything else. WWE is not competing against wrestling shows. Who are they competing against? Every other show on television. They're competing against the CSIs, the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Whatever sitcoms are out there. Law and Order. They're competing against that now. Professional wrestling has never had to compete against everyday television shows.
Friend. Okay, well, for me, what I yearned for, but my heart ignored, was to become a mother. I love kids. I've always loved children. I'm so blessed that I do have 6 godchildren now. So, because why do you not think we're less of less value because we don't have a mate or that we don't have children? You know, you guys gave me some stats that there's like over 40 million single women. Right. So obviously we okay. Right. Okay.
From the point that I made it through BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Class 58, when I made it through that, my days of wearing a Navy uniform ended. I wore marine greens or swim trunks and blue and golds. I never wore a Navy uniform
That's
again.
incredible.
And I said, I want to go back now. I want to go back to Vietnam right now. I don't want to be here. And he looked at me and he said, what, you just finished a complete 9-month deployment.
He said, I can't send you back. He said, what's the problem? And I said, here's the problem. I can't go up on Orange Avenue and buy a beer. I can't even vote for who sent me to Vietnam. So I was given no privileges of being an adult. And yet they sent me to war. They asked me to kill or be killed for my country. And yet then they told me I was a child.
A lot of people have this negative voice in their head. They listen to this different story. But in order to be successful, you have to learn how to compete with yourself. And it's all about passion. You have to find the right passion for yourself, because that makes you rich. That makes you unstoppable, because everybody wants to look at the other picture and have fantasy. But the thing is that you have to, all in your mind, you have to focus, you have to have that vision. When I was a kid, I was very young. I lost a major part of my hearing because I had an ear infection. So I had a severe speech impediment. So as a kid, I was very obsessed with power because I was bullied a lot. I do a lot of comic books like The Incredible Hulk, Superman comics. And then I realized I discovered bodybuilding because that gave me a wonderful sense of well-being. I came to the conclusion to be best of friends with my body.
For me, the perfect ending is Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. Rosebud. I always loved that ending. Rose. And it's so provocative. I keep it, what does that mean? And of course, it raises the question that causes you to, and your curiosity, to go back and look at the movie again.
Do you have a favorite style in which to work? And by that I mean television, stage, film? Because
not really. No, I don't. Because I think that all mediums have their own parameters that are both challenging and fascinating. And but I've often said, if I was forced to make a choice, I would choose the theater because of the live experience, the audience.
When it comes to your daughter, who you just mentioned, what were some of the things she liked to do? Activities or hobbies or interests?
Oh, she was a great professional chef. She was a garde manger. They're the people that look at the plate before it goes out into the restaurant.
Do you have problems with your family? Okay, I mean, who doesn't really when you think about it? However, today we've got some people who say they have a mother-in-law from hell. Now, I was thinking, this can be a brother-in-law, a sister-in-law, it can be anything. One mother-in-law threatened to have her daughter's husband killed.
What are you talking about? This is, and something is good, but it should be bigger and better. And so the generation I went along with, we all of a sudden sort of burst through and did all the triples. And
her first element she's going to be trying is a triple flip. This will help set the tone. Pulled that out.
Little.
So, being conscious of that opens the door for freedom. If you're not free of drugs and alcohol, if you're not free from food, if you're not free from overworking your damn self, you need to have time for yourself, time to live.
Administering holes like the DDT on a man on a concrete floor.
All do things differently. I make my own rules because it's much easier that way. Now, as far as Damien goes, that's just part of the intimidation thing that I do. Because if you're thinking about the snake, then you're not thinking about me. And when you don't think about me, well, why don't we ask Ricky Steamboat?
Here we go.
Bye.